787 departure frequency time will be 1257.
25-7, thanks.
All right, welcome back to SciFi And Friends podcast. Today, I have a really special friend. Actually, I'm fascinated by you.
Do we make eye contact with the camera?
You can if you want. If you want to like just talk to the people out there, just
No.
like call Zach at 417.
1-800.
Buy a farm from Zach and grow marijuana.
Buy stuff.
Buy
and
stuff.
Grow.
Yeah, and then sell it back to him. No, my guest today is Zach Collard. Zach's what aren't you? That's the
An
real
opportunist,
question.
I would say.
Yeah,
An
opportunist and an entrepreneur.
Like to think of myself as an outdoorsman. Like to think of myself as somewhat of an entrepreneur. A people person.
Oh,
most
no
definitely.
doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, just a dude figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever we're talking to the mic, if you just keep it like, remember you can just move it around.
Absolutely.
It's like, I should have told you that. Yep.
Right
something,
here.
Something like that. And you can hear the difference.
Oh, wow.
When I first met you, we were talking about it earlier, you came over with Ian.
That was the first night I met you because this was your studio at the time.
Yeah, it used to be the old office. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, my first impressions were, I thought you were 35. I thought you were older than what you were. And then you came back like
real well.
23. Yeah. And you had a KUIU hat on. And
Yeah.
at the time, Joe Rogan had just interviewed the guys from KUIU. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this company is
Yeah.
awesome. And then you came in and I'm like, I've never seen anyone wear a KUIU hat before. So
I had a friend who, he was a commercial model, I guess you'd say, for the outdoor industry. And
That's cool.
Still is. Haven't talked to him in a little while.
Yeah.
But he found out about them through, I think, just a suggestion of one of his mule deer hunting buddies. And this guy's from Minnesota, so like
Yeah.
this active gear stuff doesn't really pertain to the ice cold stuff that he's used to. But for our climates here, I mean, it's great unless things get really cold. And then I will definitely supplement with like a big set of coveralls or whatever.
Yeah,
However,
right.
as far as what I've used it, man, it's killer.
Yeah.
It's great gear. They put.
Oh, you're
everything
saying
into-
KUIU is.
Yeah, they put everything into their gear.
Yeah.
And I haven't bought anything new from KUIU either. Everything I've bought used off eBay after I read reviews.
Uh-huh.
And now I wouldn't even hesitate. And their price point just beats everyone.
Yeah.
Honestly, direct to consumer, you're saving there. They're constantly researching.
Yep.
So.
Their
Now it
backpacks.
sounds like a fucking KUIU plug. I like them.
Well, hey, if you want to hook us up with some KUIU gear, go right ahead.
I dig their mission, man. But
Yeah.
I have a lot of good friends that work at Sitka.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good friends that work in other clothing brands and teach their own, man.
Yeah.
Different goals. So
I mean, I would say that is the number one thing that fascinated me about you was that you were so deep into the hunting world. And me, I just grew up in backwoods Kansas or backwoods Oklahoma, and Dad and I would go hunting.
Yep.
And then, like when I met you, you kind of like opened the door of like, there's this whole industry.
Sure.
It's a small industry or a small, close knit type
it's
thing.
a small industry.
Yeah. Which most are.
Mm-hmm.
But, like whether it be outfitting, which that still just boggles my mind that works the way that it does. That you just take someone to the tree stand, they pay you $3,000.
I don't know anything about that price. I'm not sure what that.
$4,000.
I'm not sure about that price. No, it's fun. I think it's pretty obvious. You figure what people like by what they do usually. So like, if you see a guy painting on the street corner, he probably really likes painting. If you see a guy guiding hunts, selling farmland, selling outdoor ad space, what have you, probably likes being outside. And I think I came to a point where I was like, fuck it. I like being outside,
Yeah.
but I like being outside and doing what I love. I don't just like the thought of being outside because there's a lot of guys that work their ass off outside.
Right, just put your desk outside.
yeah. They work their ass off outside,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's not just being outside; it's what all that entails and the hunting side of things. So
Yeah.
the outdoor side of things.
Yeah.
'Cause I dig it all. If it's outside, I'm into it pretty much.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Does that change the way that like that you hunt? Like, does it get in the way? I always thought it would get in the way of like your personal.
So if I like my dad and I like to hike. My dad is not a hunter at all. Unfortunately, he never picked up on it. He grew up in rural
how'd you
Oklahoma.
get start?
Lived in Louisiana, and dude, we got a day off of school to go squirrel hunting.
The school let you do it?
Yeah,
Like,
the school, the bank's closed, the post office closed.
no way.
I swear. And that Saturday was like a huge shopping day in that community too, because all the husbands are at squirrel camp, and
wow.
the wives have the free reign that weekend to do whatever the hell they want to go do. So it was an interesting cultural experience that I saw how people intertwined the outdoors into their everyday life and enjoyed it and shared it with family and friends. I was like, this is badass. I always had an affinity for fishing. My dad did take me fishing quite a bit. Just wasn't a hunter. And we didn't really live in places until Louisiana that hunting was kind of an option. We lived right outside a state park, so like the property between where we lived and the state park was like just this perfect place to immerse yourself in the middle of the like several times I came home super late as a 9, 10, 11-year-old or me 10, 11, 12-year-old kid, late as hell because I went and got lost. And like legitimately looking back, you go on Google Earth now, you're like, Jesus, dude, that's like 60 acres of timber he got lost in. And now it's, you know, you're like, but I was just enamored of being outside. I was enamored of wildlife. So when I do things outside, like hike or kayak or even fishing in the spring, you do definitely like listen for that turkey gobble or check out a rub or a scrape on a trailhead or, you know, you're always thinking about hunting, but I don't think it got in the way. I think it just, it solidifies my why, if you will. So it's like, all right, this is all I'm thinking about and this is all I really care about is being in the outdoors and immersing myself in the outdoors. I'm where I need to be at this certain point. There's a lot further places to go, but I think I'm stoked with what I've done and how I've intertwined the outdoors with my everyday life. And I don't think hunting or constantly thinking about hunting has really ruined it more than it has, I would say, solidified even more. Definitely would say that. Yeah. And there's a switch. You got to turn it off sometimes.
Sure. For
sure. There's definitely you got to focus on work, family, friends, God, whatever. Right. Whatever your focuses are. And, there are times where I catch myself off focus because I'm always thinking about the outdoors or like how I can be out next or like what that deer is doing now that I saw 2 years ago on camera or whatever. You know, what are his patterns now? I think about this weird shit and it does get in the way on a thinking process, but not like an experience process.
Right. Like you still get the dishes done. And
no, I don't just like sit on my couch and watch outdoor TV. Like, a lot of guys do that though.
Oh, I believe it.
I guess it's a thing. I don't know.
So, okay, so you lived in Louisiana, but your dad wasn't a big hunter. So you just like individually, personally
I was introduced to a group of kids in a neighborhood, and I was introduced to a big group of kids on a football team, and I will never forget that Saturday. Okay, well, actually, it started with a family that babysat me and my sister over the weekend while my parents went away, and it was the opening day of frog gigging season in Louisiana. So this is like
gigging?
a grand
passage.
Gigging? Yeah. So this was like a rite of passage before squirrel season opened, right? This was like everybody's getting outside for that first time in the fall, which squirrel season opened, I think, beginning of October, I believe. It did when I was there. And then frog gigging season opened like mid-late summer. And I went with the person that was babysitting us and I think a son-in-law or something like that. Had never done any of that shit in my life. Like we were spotlighting they taught me the difference between a bullfrog and a set of eyes from a bullfrog and a set of eyes from an alligator. Like the red ones are bad. The white ones and yellow ones are good.
That's important.
And so, we'd see nutria rats, we'd see catfish, all this shallow water, marshy habitat. And I was like, this shit is cool. Like we're literally stabbing frogs and eating them. Like this is insane.
A little boy's dream. Yeah.
And then, so from there, like I remember just like focusing on catching lizards in my backyard. Like how can I catch these little lizards that ran everywhere? And that was my style of hunting at the time. But I didn't have a gun, I didn't have a bow, I didn't know what I was doing. Once football rolled around and my neighborhood kids kind of started to hang out more, we'd go ride four-wheelers and whatnot. And I'll never forget the coach. We won the game, we were on the bus, and he was like, who's going dove hunting with their dad today? And everyone raised their hand but me, and I was like, what is dove hunting with dad? What does that mean? Like, how does that... So dad, he kind of introduced me to a person he worked with who essentially took me under their wing. I went deer hunting on their property for the first time. Dad took me squirrel hunting on their property for the first time. The squirrels in my backyard and the little acre and a half we lived on were fucked. It was done. But they always supported my interests. They just physically themselves couldn't. And so that's when it really started, was my move to Louisiana. Then when I moved back to the Midwest, to Oklahoma, everyone deer hunts. Like that's like the thing. Oh, yeah. And so I think those high school years, like I started to save money, earn money, and thought, I'm just going to buy like a tree stand and I'm going to buy I didn't buy a bow. I was given a bow. I bought tree stands, bought a feeder, bought my first camera. Thought, I'm going to try this bow hunting thing. Yeah. And I didn't even know to stay in the stand till dark. Like, no idea. Got out middle of like golden hour. Like, well, didn't see anything. Gonna walk back. On the way back to the truck, there's a group of does. And I was like, oh, sweet. I didn't have a rangefinder. I had no idea. I just knew that I had shot at 40 yards and that was my max. Yeah. Where's the wind? All right. And I settled a 40-yard pin on a smaller doe shot. It was the damnedest button buck you've ever seen after I found it. And that was my first bow kills from the ground walking back. And I was like, this shit's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
This shit's really cool. Like I called 8 or 9 friends to come scour this field with me because I didn't even know the blood trail. I had no idea.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I knew arrow went through it, found a blood covered arrow, and
Yeah.
like randomly found blood as we went back and forth on 4-wheelers. Like it was like trial by fire. It was definitely like,
Oh, absolutely.
it was fail a lot and then research and then fail a lot more and then
Yeah.
research and then just kind of surround yourself with folks that I conveniently dated a chick in high school that had a big farm and got to hunt that quite a bit.
Big tits, big farm.
Both.
Sign
yeah,
me up.
Both. Yeah, you can edit that out. And then came to college here, and it's just like a whole new world's open because not only is everyone into the outdoors here for the most part that I surrounded myself with, they had the better property to do so. And, you know, you see all these wildlife areas and public grounds around here, and you're like, it was a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Met a very good friend of mine that's a friend today that introduced me to a local outfitter here. It was mainly waterfowl. I did some deer hunts here and there, but mainly waterfowl. And started there as a college job versus I had a landscape company, sold it, wasn't going to, weed eat anymore.
You and Phil both.
Oh, yeah. You get sick of it after a while. That's why he doesn't touch equipment anymore. A smart man. But decided I'm not going to flip burgers. I'm going to guide. I'm going to take people waterfowl hunting. And I had maybe, 16 years old, pulled the trigger on my first duck. It would have been, I was 20.
So you were guiding without ever...
4 years. 4 years of hunting, 2 of which were in Kansas.
Oh, I got you.
But the properties, the thing is, you're in submerged pit blinds. You're in man-made marshes. You're in flooded corn. It's the Cadillac of duck hunting. So it was more like what kind of work ethic do you have versus like what kind of hunting knowledge, because they're always there. Mm-hmm. If you build it, they will come kind of theory. Obviously with waterfowl, there's a lot more to it than just flooding corn. But for the most part, it was great hunting. And then you learn the people skills. Then you make the networking. Then you see, okay, guiding the rest of your life isn't going to cut it. If you want to live past 55 or ever really own anything in your whole life,
because it's tough, or
the margins aren't there. Once you pay yourself at the end of the day, I feel like you've got to be a self-owned, meaning the ground in which you hunt, you own, kind of like the higher end stuff, the Hooray ranches, things like that. And he doesn't even necessarily do it for income, at the most part. I mean, he just raised several $1,000s for the school district this weekend just by utilizing his venue, his lodge. So that's the point I want to be. He went and made his money a very intelligent way. He was a hard worker. That's what I'm meaning. So like just being a rough and tumble guide the rest of your life, it's very similar to being a fishing guide or a ski instructor or it is. You got to rely on gratuity. It's hard ass work, and it really separates a lot of the heroes from the zeros. You can totally tell in a matter of minutes. Who's got it and who doesn't. And then at the end of the day, there's spiritual benefits, physical benefits, no. Because one of two things you see: a dude that's super overweight that rides around in his truck and takes his guys out and comes back, or a guy that's just like worn thin at the age of 35, 40. I mean, but that's a lot of people's choices. I'm totally cool with that. Right. I enjoy guiding. I'll do it till I can't. I don't think I have the balls to make it a mainstay 24/7. That's what I do all the time. So I figured after college I needed to diversify a little and continue to hunt, continue to film quite a bit, film a lot of hunting itself for different brands or operations, and then fell into real estate and thought, holy shit, I can still do video production, I can still hunt a lot, and I can sell stuff that's really cool. Okay, this might fit. This might work. And it is a lot more corporate. It's a lot more structured. There's a lot of laws and regulations on the certificates you get with the license you hold. There's a lot of, it's very similar to the confidentiality and client relation as a lawyer. It's a lot of private stuff you learn about people and find out about people, and you've got to abide by those rules and laws. So I would say the most structured thing I've ever been a part of. And that structure
is real estate?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, completely. Guiding, I can go do whatever. I can take a guy and hunt him in the most dangerous part of the whole mountain. Yeah. And he kills an elk, If I were to put my client in real estate in a very dangerous position, it's bad. There's no risk.
How can you put them in a dangerous position?
Well, okay, for instance, there was a chick in Wichita, I think. We were talking about this at a meeting a couple weeks ago, who did not send... So there's wiring instructions when people wire earnest money or they wire money to a title agency in the state of Kansas, right? Yeah. They hacked email, sent a fake email address, and sent over $250,000 to some bank in the Bahamas.
Didn't get it back. It's just
Didn't
gone.
get back.
It's just gone.
And she's gone. So like that's the dangerous position.
Yeah.
Make sure you give them wiring instructions. Say don't ever open any email unless it's from our closing company.
Right.
So
that is dangerous.
that's very dangerous. Also taking a guy that smoked his whole life and walking him on the edge of the sandhills to get to the next little mountaintop. But he's agreeing on that.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing on that.
He signed up
This
for
is what
that.
we're doing.
Yeah, he signed up for that.
So meaning it's just the corporate structure and the, I would say, lack of risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say it's my most structured thing. There's not a whole lot of risk involved if you follow the rules and do the right thing. And it's fun. You get to network. And a lot of these people that are my real estate clients are hunting clients. And a lot of my hunting clients are video clients and so on and so forth. So I view what I've decided to do in a job or a career is very circular. It's all intertwined.
Very
versus
overlaps.
where
Yeah.
I might have like something here. Like,
Right.
for instance, the guys you see that go work 9 to 5s, but at nights they make duck calls or they make knives or
Right.
so that really doesn't coincide.
Right.
Like that's a passion of theirs that they're following for damn sure. But we all got to have money. We all got to have income. I mean, it is what it is. I don't down anyone that works a job. I just want everybody to work. Like whether it's a passion or not, just fucking work.
Yeah. Right. You can start somewhere.
Anywhere,
and
sweep a
work your
floor,
way.
and then who knows who you meet. So that's where I like to view my diversification in a circular sense versus 4 or 5 very separate, unrelated things.
That's super smart to keep everything overlapped, you know.
Yeah.
You sell real estate, you fly your drone for videography for the real estate.
Sure.
And just so happens that the real estate's a little bit of outdoor outfitting. You know?
There's a lot of guys you wouldn't believe who they'll list stuff with me and be like, hey, if you ever want to hunt out there, they're absentee landowners. They inherited the farm. And they might be dynamite farms.
Yeah.
So then you go run trail cameras, then you plant a food plot, then you get the perk of, a lot of times guys, I'll even ask them, can I lease it for the year?
Yeah.
Or, because I'll put in the work to find the big deer on there for the trail cam pictures to sell the farm, right?
Yeah.
All the while I still get to hunt and enjoy it. And a lot of folks would probably be like, oh, what a skis ball, but fuck it, dude. I don't care. I get to enjoy
Well, they're
what I
not
enjoy.
doing anything with it.
Anybody can do anything they want, man.
Yeah.
You want to go be a real estate agent? Have at it.
That you probably just summed up Zach Collard's philosophy
What?
of life.
What?
Anybody can do anything.
Why the fuck can't you?
Yeah,
Like, I have a father who is from very, very, very humble beginnings, and the dude has completely excelled in a career path. He was a radio DJ at the age when he had me. He's not a radio DJ, like not even close, but he chose a path of success. And
That's what he wanted to do?
He thought. He thought. And he had fun doing it.
Yeah.
It's a fun college job.
Yeah.
Just like me being, I'm going to be a guide my whole life. No,
Yeah.
you're not.
Right.
Because you
Yeah.
have so much more to go do and see.
Right.
Versus being stuck in Southeast Kansas on one farm the rest of your life. Like,
Right.
cheers to those who do, and it's awesome. But,
but like, what if
we've
you turn
got
out to be
different
like,
shit to do?
What if you turn out to be like a Jim Shockey or
Yeah,
something?
we've got different shit to do. Well, if I turn to be a Jim Shockey, that's
He's an outfitter,
way different ballgame.
He's like the biggest.
But look at his
dicked
endorsement. He is. But he hardly steps foot in the field anymore. He's busy producing his own show, which advertised for his business.
Right.
And all the while, he's a spokesperson for God knows what brands, and spends his time making sure he's scheduling meetings. He's a public figure.
Right.
He's a guide gone public figure.
Right. Same with Cam. Cam Haynes did the same thing.
Whether you want to look at it, they're still badass hunters.
Yeah.
But they know their intrinsic value, which is a public figure.
Yeah.
They sell shit. Like, they are the tool to sell shit. I view my eye and my hands to be the tools to sell shit. I can create a video that makes someone like something. They can say something or do something that makes someone like something. So, sure, I always want to stay diversified, but I know at the end of the day what my passion is in. It's just being productive, being a people person, and being diversified. And if you can do those things and still fucking have fun, like, I may be broke as fuck one month, but you
That's
never know.
the game you play.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah.
huge game you play. And I've never been like one that's like compassionate for folks that always bitch about being broke.
Yeah.
Because even in this day and age, like, even Craigslist jobs, like gigs.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a buddy who owns a lawn care company,
Mhm.
and he also bartends at weddings. Like, that's straight cat. Like, why waste your weekend screwing around when you can go have fun and intermingle? Oh, wow, you're meeting all these probably married, established adults in the local area.
Right.
Slip them a fucking business card.
Yeah. Right.
Here you go. They're hammered, and they don't want to mow their lawn tomorrow because they're going to be hungover.
Oh,
Boom,
yeah.
done.
Yeah. Right.
So always try. I guess my life motto is anyone can do anything. Why not? But always stay connected. Like, always stay connected and grounded, and like figure out where your roots need to run versus just being a fucking tumbleweed.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Nomadic guys and girls have always intrigued me because it's like, how can you I love chaos, but I like controlled chaos.
Yeah.
I like
right.
I want to be controlled in the moment I'm in, but I couldn't live a life of just like, I'm in a van, fuck it, I'm driving the country. Like, they got balls.
That's crazy.
Their thing.
That's a different type of mentality.
Yeah,
you have to be. That's a different sort of courageous as far as like, I'm just gonna drive.
Sure.
Or I'm just gonna fly to this country and see what's up.
And take pictures and put
Sounds
it on Instagram,
cool.
and then maybe get some endorsement deals because it's like,
Or get Girardi. You
cool.
know, and just,
Yeah.
just
It's
fucking
like,
shit your guts out.
Yeah. That's for real. But so I definitely would say my drive to desire to be in the outdoors, my drive and desire to be in the outdoors is what I don't want to sound so cheesy. What wakes me up every day? It's like, I got to make this real estate sale so I can go to Montana for a week and fucking clean house on ducks.
Yeah, I mean, but
I've got to go guide this week. I've got to go guide this week to get my fucking head clear so I can come back and hammer on real estate.
Right.
Or I've got to go film this farm, or I've got to go film this project because I want to have the freedom of doing whatever I want this weekend.
Right.
So
the alternative is much worse.
Yeah.
You know, the alternative of I'll do it
fuck
later.
it.
You know,
yeah.
whatever.
And I do it all the time, and it's so tough because you catch yourself. You're like, dumb fuck.
Isn't that hilarious though?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
doing exactly what you want,
Mhm.
and you still have to struggle with that.
I would say it's more. That's why I was talking to some folks about, like, I feel these folks who have a structured job with a supervisor or a manager almost benefit from complete mental torture sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, or from the lack of complete mental torture. They get
either way.
Yeah, they can be miserable with their job. However, I know a ton of folks that work for, say, Cerner, that love their job.
Yeah.
And they avoid a lot of, yes, they have to make crucial decisions. Yes, they have to study their field and know what they're talking about in meetings and figuring out what's best for the company. But when you have someone directing you and helping you, a peer, a boss, a manager, a supervisor, there's a lot to be said for that and the value of it, because you're not sitting there going, come on, fucker. Like, it's like, oh, I got to do this.
Yeah.
He has told me, she has told me, I got to do this.
Right.
So you get,
it's much more consequential. Well, it's much more consequential in a timeline, like a quicker timeline.
Sure.
Like they will say, you're fired.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't do it.
That's the alternative. Yeah. It's
If you
not
don't-
like the alternative isn't feeling bad for the day and then
Yeah.
and rushing it tomorrow. It's you're fucking fired.
Yeah. Life-changing event just happened.
It's over. Yeah. What you did's over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's something to be said about structure, you know, about scheduling structure
so.
as far as like holidays. You get your holidays off, you know.
Sure.
You know what time you're getting off.
Sure.
You know, that it allows you
Sure.
to make less decisions
And there's
or focus on other decisions.
my only desire for everyone is to just be happy in what they do to make some money. And there's a lot of folks that aren't, but there's a lot of folks that might even be too happy making money, and then that becomes the focus. It's like,
That's right.
no more being outdoors. It's like, I just
Yeah.
want to go make some fucking bankroll.
It's like, how much have you made so far?
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't you cool? Like,
Right.
What else you want?
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, fuck work. Let's quit talking about work. What else do you want to talk about?
I'm just
talking about work too much.
I'm just fascinated by the outdoors.
I appreciate it.
The outfitting part of it. You know, like the personal side. I get
rewarding.
it. I understand how it works.
It's really. I would say,
but
like,
that side's
some dudes to
so foreign.
follow would be a gentleman named Sam Hunt. He's a grinder. Like, I don't know if he has a day job or not. I do follow his social media threads, and it's just like the fucking guy just eats, sleeps, and breathes it. And he's never like pimping out brands or like wearing a flat bill with a certain brand on it and turning it to the side and making sure that you see the big logo.
Right.
He's not one of those Westy guys.
Right.
He's
not a
like
NASCAR driver.
He looks like he's, and he may be. He looks like he's a thoroughbred Kansas boy on a mountain killing shit. Versus like, I don't know, some of your Westy or goofier look. Do you follow Make Hunting Great Again?
I don't.
It
sounds great,
It is
though.
my only negative satirical account that I follow because I don't want.
Is it anti-hunting?
Not at all. It is anti-bullshit social media superstars that don't fucking know their ass from the hole in the ground.
Like hunting superstars?
Totally.
Oh. You are one popular fellow.
I have to take this.
Take it.
Hello.
Wow. I wish we were live. If we were live, then you guys could tell me what questions you want me to ask Zach. Everything looks... I'm using a new screen capture.
I don't think he has either, or the other deals aren't as solid as he wants to advertise. Because if I'm your seller and I get a deal...
Go check out this documentary. Paying gigs versus something for fun.
Tough. It's tough when you or your own slave?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll tell you the biggest thing I've learned from doing this documentary, which was like the biggest budget we've ever. When they signed over on the budget, it was like, holy shit, cool. I'm still thinking about how much money it was, and but what it did was it changed the way that I make videos. So it's like, oh, we have all this money. I'll buy a camera cage, which I didn't ever use.
Right.
I didn't need it. I just have the A7S.
Right.
Normal.
Right.
Which in the end, that's what worked best. Oh, I'll hire an editor. It's like, I could have just done it myself,
Right.
But it just changed my mind. But all I would have told myself is just make it the way you always make videos.
Right.
You'll learn new things and you'll expand, but it's like, it's not enough money to do a whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it the way you always do it.
Nice. Yeah. I agree. I hear you there for sure.
Because you know the way that you operate.
I would say definitely, like, especially after shooting that stuff with Phil, focusing budget more on audio cost, I would say, like audio expense.
Yeah.
Getting a good technician.
Ryan
and, like,
did pretty
graphics.
good, didn't he? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ryan's, I would say, one of the best audio techs I've ever worked with because he's just so on the fly.
Cool
he's so set to documentary work. Like with Pioneer Woman, he's having to constantly run around.
Yeah.
So he was just there.
Yeah.
Where the other two guys were pretty bummy. Well, no, one was just totally out of his realm with hunting and like was really lost.
Is that the guy that bought $500 worth of Sitka gear?
Mm-hmm. And at a discount. So
damn.
with my code, he would have got like, it was cheap compared to what he should have spent.
Right.
Which could have been crazy.
Which he probably never wore it again.
No. And I wish he was my size because I just buy it. But
hell yeah.
And the other dude just like didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
It was an all night shoot.
I remember.
He didn't want to be there.
Phil talking about it. But Ryan was cool as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, imagine that weekend was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We were stuck in the Phil's Tahoe for a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
And if any one of us would have been a douche, it would have been torture. But all four of us were
never
cool
had,
as hell.
Yeah, we never had one guy that was like,
nobody bitched.
No.
Nobody bitched. And I had the least amount of sleep. The night we were in Texas and we were driving around, remember Phil's like, we're gonna take this 4-wheeler and we're gonna drive around. The guys were like, have fun.
When it was just us.
Yeah, just the four of us. And it's foggy as hell.
Post
like,
cactus.
Post everything. Yeah. And it was like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm falling asleep. I'm like holding on. You fell asleep in the backseat.
Oh, I
I'm
did.
like falling asleep, holding on, like, please, I hope I don't fall off.
Yeah.
And we slept for 2 hours maybe. Sun came up. We got in the Tahoe and we were off to our next place. Like,
it was fun.
It was awesome.
I think next time we definitely need to dedicate more time to each location and not just like run hard for that.
I mean, it's definitely a learning experience. If we had a little bit more time to recuperate, maybe break down things like what went right, what went wrong.
Sure.
Next place, what are we dealing with here, But having cool people on, like the Art Mailing, this guy, he was super cool and he has a huge following.
He's a great human.
Yeah, he was cool.
He's nice.
And what we were doing as far as machine guns with night vision and pigs and shit like that.
And like tripod turrets.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was intense. He's looking at me. He's like, you ready? You looked at me like, you ready? Like, yeah, I got the kill. I'm like, I got the shooter. And it was just like 3, 2.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
It went off. It was kind of funny. We had some footage from one of our guests on the show, and I don't think you were at that shoot.
Was it
no,
the
you
chick?
weren't.
The chick?
Yeah. And
what was her name?
I don't want to say it. She had an audio clip that right when her boyfriend that had to tag along and Phil started squeezing triggers, she literally goes, what are we even shooting at? I'm like, and then she just starts wrapping rounds off at this herd of pigs running in the dark.
Oh, shit.
It's like,
Yeah, not to pick on her, but like her whole career was based off controversy.
Yeah.
Like she's just kind of like a normal chick, and then all of a sudden, boom, explosion.
Yeah.
Because the right post and.
That's what make hunting great again is the whole.
I checked it out while you were gone.
It's ruthless.
It was. Actually, was I on the right one?
It's as dry of humor as. I don't think it has a Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
It's Instagram. But let me see their. Yeah, that's it. That's their logo.
I bet.
So we'll ask you. He's a big graphic designer for the outdoor industry.
Okay.
He designed that. I think pro bono for the guy.
I think the Instagram is
ruthless.
way more ruthless.
He really calls out a lot of like poaching guys. Shed hunting is
me
God's
up.
way of giving participation trophies for those without hunting skills.
Made me laugh.
He's got all sorts of stuff about like Westies and Flatlanders on his Instagram page, and it's really. I mean, it's as about as spot on as you can get.
Really?
It's almost too harsh. I was like, ooh, dude, you're pushing the line and making someone jump off a cliff.
Basically, what I understood from the Facebook page was just like calling out mostly social bullshit as far as
Right.
what social media has done to the outdoor
Right.
world, right? That's what it seemed like to me. I don't know. Ricky, is that Ricky? Is it this one? All these underscore? Probably. No, that's not it. Anyway, I'll check it out for sure. But his Facebook page, yeah. Like at the very last, they have Michael Waddell talking about how, back in the day, everyone was very encouraging on TV shows or social. They'd say like, like I'm a badass. He was saying I'm a badass turkey hunter, but he didn't like the individual didn't make you feel like you could never be a badass turkey hunter. Like,
oh yeah, positivity.
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, back when, outdoor television was an infomercial for Realtree, for Matthews.
Yeah, I remember those days
when it was just like even like early on with like the dawn of Monster Bucks and stuff like that, like Realtree DVDs. Mm-hmm. It was like no one had an ego. It was kind of And then I don't know where the turning point was. Where money clearly.
Right.
I'm not quite sure where the turning point in generational.
Ted Nugent had to deal with it.
I don't know. Like just being cocky and like saying.
Not that he has an ego because he's actually pretty cool.
He's a rock and roll star.
But he definitely, he changed the game when he was like, wang, bang, shoot him, grill him, pack him, And a lot of people try to emulate him, on their hunts,
Sure.
And I think it was Phil who was like, I don't have to play my bow every time I kill a deer, making fun of people that do that.
It's true.
But how much did his personality and his persona
so I didn't
change the game?
I didn't follow him on early enough to be like, oh wow, that was a turning point. So I kind of became fascinated with outdoor television when we didn't even have Sportsman yet. It was just Outdoor Channel, and the logo was like the moose and the lake and the mountains behind it. And I remember like it coming on every time a show aired. And I was like, I remember, my big thing was like several shows I watched were produced by Wolf Creek Productions. That was like the production company back in the day. And when I was 20 or 21, I ended up filming a couple episodes of a show that they produced with the owner of Wolf. So it was like one of those full circle things, like, they're still good in the world. Yeah. But then like you saw, because they were super humble dudes, and it was a fun shoot.
Where are they based out of?
Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that, and I think when we began to glorify products, that really, like, your Realtree really was like, if you don't hunt with this shit, you're not as good, or you don't have the advantage. It's called Advantage Timber. Advantage.
Yeah.
We started to look at like camouflage patterns as being like, fuck the hunting skills, put the suit on, and you're good.
Well, it's like tribalism, right?
Because it wasn't.
Like, you have Sitka? I have Under Armour.
Yeah,
fuck you.
So it wasn't at the time. It wasn't. I don't think it was about materials even, because like look at their old stuff. It's like denim. It wasn't about like, ooh, we'll keep you warm, or there's pit vents or scent control. Yeah, it's like, slap that camo pattern on that thing repeatedly, and that's the best thing ever. Right. And then they realized, because ski gear and hiking gear and all that was still taking off. So we're like, where I compare like the land real estate realm to be about 10 years behind the modern marketing of home real estate or commercial real estate these days. That? I do, because I think it's very antiquated. It's farming, it's hunting, it's antiquated. You get a lot of no nonsense guys. I had a guy who was making a listing video for the largest land broker in our country. Right now, they have the second largest property for sale and price-wise listed in our nation. The first one is in LA right now.
Wow.
But it's an affiliate company of theirs. So anyway, I'm meeting this guy. He's done millions and millions of dollars worth of work. And his exact words when I sent him a 30-second teaser was like, do you like how this is put together? Do you like the pace of the film? Do you like this?
No.
We're not making a fucking Emmy. Quote, we're not making a fucking Emmy.
Wow.
This is a tool, and I need it to be a tool. And I was like, so what does that mean?
Yeah,
like, I want info bars through the whole fucking thing the whole time. I want phone numbers everywhere. The whole it's an infomercial. He wanted it as a tool, and I think
you were making it purdy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He was confused as why I was like waiting till the evening to go shoot this 7,800 acre ranch. I'm like, dude,
nobody cares.
7,800 acres, like it does matter.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look at, and you want to captivate an audience. You just want to make them go, holy shit, that's premiere, and I think. Selling, marketing in real estate is all about scheduling, making a schedule to meet someone, like getting a meeting under the table, like getting it done, putting it to bed, making someone call you and buy something from you. Once you can get them in the door, you have a so much higher percentage of success rate with the customer.
Sound like a car salesman.
Hunting, any real commission-based sales, I would say that. But where like hunting sales, where you're getting most of your marketing hype, is geared towards that hero mentality. Like, what gladiator do you follow? What badass?
Yeah. Cam Haines.
Sure. Yeah. But again, he's a guy that learned, I can sell myself.
Yeah.
This works.
Yeah.
Again, the circle of connectivity. He still gets to hunt, still gets to work out all the time, and he's still making money. So it all, With hunting, I think it's where it's different is you get, we're so behind the curve of the ski industry or the hiking industry or just like your activewear industry, not history, excuse me. We're still 10 years back. We're still on fucking cable TV. There's no North Face channel. There's no, they don't need that shit. They have cool ass storefronts. They put cool ass people with their gear in magazines. They heavily market magazines. They heavily market social media. They don't worry about, it did so-and-so hit the snowboard trick right last week. Oh, he didn't. So he's out. No, it's like, here's a badass. He's dedicated to the sport. He wears our shit.
But don't you think that hunting is just its own caliber?
Sure.
Any like
it's
a
very
12-year-old
primal.
kid can go. I guess they can go hunting, but they're going to go hiking a lot quicker.
You're
than they go
absolutely
hunting.
right. Yeah. So their audience is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Sure. But as far as the appeal to an audience, maybe their audience is just so different that it doesn't matter because you still have the Bubbas, you still have the I call them Bubbas and Biffs. You got northern Bubbas, they're Biffs. Notice just like every big guy up there, like every redneck guy, their name's Biff.
Oh.
And every redneck guy in the South's Bubba.
Okay,
So it's like you got your Biffs and your Bubbas, and you got your Westies that are like huge gearheads, and then people from the East Coast that just don't really hunt a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah,
like far East Coast.
Yeah.
I would say for the most part, if you gave a region each dynamic there. And we haven't quite tapped into how to really be on the cutting edge of because when hunting television was coming on, infomercials had already been around for 10 years.
Right.
Or more. They just figured out, oh shit, we can buy 30 minutes of TV time and put our product all over it and do something cool.
And be in the woods.
Well, there it is. We'll do it too.
Right.
So I think and that's why it's cool, like to see stuff like Kuya where they have that traveling bus, that traveling showroom.
Okay. Haven't seen it.
Like so they take an RV with slide outs, completely decked out like a store inside, all the sizes you need to try shit on. They have models outside. They have professionals outside helping their employees, and they travel from city to city. And they rent out a parking lot. They rent out a parking lot. They rent out a space, set a booth up, obviously make everybody sign in, do giveaways, do guest speaking. But they're only there for,
a day or two?
A short amount of time, right. and then they're on R.I.P., bro.
There's our bro.
R.I.P., John. But yeah, look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a mobile store. What do people like?
That's
going
pretty
to?
innovative.
People like going to farmers markets, right? It's the cool new trendy thing to go to a market style shopping in America because we don't have that as much as other countries.
Right.
He created a fucking hunting clothing market, mobile market, mind you. You don't even have to drive that far.
No.
You go to your nearest city because he hit the Midwest.
Right.
He hit everywhere he should have, demographic wise.
That's cool. He was part of Sitka? Like he started Sitka too.
Co-founder, yeah. Jason.
Badass, dude.
Yeah.
Insane.
He didn't want to sell to Gore, I don't believe, or did and didn't want any part of it after that.
Have you ever seen I guess I'd call it a commercial for a real estate agency in LA where they were trying to sell this home, and instead of like the traditional don't make an Emmy type thing, basically they made a TV show out of it, like an episode.
Selling one home.
Basically the story was these kids they pretended to be sick so they didn't have to go to school, and the parents were like, all right, stay home, and somehow they got the maid not to come in because this is like a $20 million home or something. So the whole video is the kids showing off the house. So they jump into the pool.
Their parents' home?
No.
Oh, it's like Cribs.
No. No, it's a narrative. It's like a narrative. It's like set up.
Okay.
So the story is these kids, they pretend to get sick.
Hold on, the home's a character at that point, right?
Yes.
So, but the home is also for sale at the end.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So there's a part where the kids get into their mom and dad's clothes.
Yeah.
And they're putting them on, and they're walking down this fucking huge closet.
Yeah.
And they're they're showing us off this closet. There's like a crazy mirror.
Sure.
So the whole time they're like, it's funny because the girl's dressing up in all this glamour and crap, but it's showing off the whole time. The whole time. So they jump into the pool, and it's like, check out the pool, and the kids are having a blast, and their mom and dad come home, and the house is like wrecked, but they're like,
how long?
Oh, probably 3-4 minutes.
That's perfect.
I mean, I could try to look it
It's a
up,
really
but
dope
it's
short film.
yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about that as far as, and
Yeah.
they used it to sell the house.
Totally. So I think with that, if you're selling a recreational piece, like I
Mm-hmm.
could follow a guy around for a season, it's a huge gamble because you want to sell the farm now, right? Like where that's probably produced in 1 to 2 days because it's not
no
seasonal.
doubt.
It's
No
not like
doubt. And a team of 40
reality.
to 50 people.
Yeah, it's not reality based. But I think you could even then pose like I can find a dead deer within this week, this cold front coming. Someone that bow shot a deer,
Right.
get some glamour shots
Yep.
of the dude shooting out of his stand. I have
Yep.
tons of footage of whitetails, putting together a piece
Yeah.
to get that feel.
Right.
And then you're on the farm, and then like him driving through the farm and going through the creek and cleaning the deer in the middle of the field.
But like you said earlier, these people are no nonsense. People are like, do they give a shit how awesome the video is?
Look at Whitetail Properties.
Yeah.
They have a TV show based. They do exactly that.
Yeah. Okay.
Almost every hunt that they have is on a farm that's for sale.
Huh.
And they kill big ass shit, but they take
Right.
that risk of this is a premier farm. We're going to sink this much into our marketing costs
Mm-hmm.
to make a whole entire TV episode of a big deer getting killed off this farm or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. And then we're going to present that in a TV episode a couple months later. So if you can hold out, we'll list it then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The investment, it's the time, really. Yeah. Exactly.
And everything's timing. What if you get a hot
Yeah.
buyer on the farm before the episode even airs? Then
Yeah.
you've wasted that. But I think they're to a point as a company where they realize the reward versus the cost. It's worth it.
Right.
Yeah, it's neat to see different marketing strategies from companies. But like I said, I still think the hunting industry and like the land real estate industry is, in a kind of I kept saying this word, but antiquated, point of view still to this day.
It's a good word.
Yeah, because I think everything else is, but they have a very different audience. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so what would your opinion be like to de-antiquate it?
Good question. To start, I would say this whole like Nike has Colin Kaepernick, right? He's their whatever. UA has Cameron Haynes.
Yeah.
Like that I think is still needed, the spokesperson side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But like these cheesy shows that we still do, like when we go to ATA and stuff like that, and everybody's like holding the product up and doing a Facebook Live, and the repetitive shit kills me because you see a lot of companies, and I think it does depend on the marketing and the production team you put together. Because if you're willing to spend the money, you can have the folks that know what they're doing to an extent where like they eat, sleep, and breathe, grabbing people's attention. And I think too much now we're still setting this, well, fuck it, just get it on camera because it's still hunting and it's kind of cool. Like we'll hire this kid for $100 a day.
Yeah.
So I think maybe putting more dollars and focus on true production value and then targeting. I think we've got to get out of the era of the 30-second commercials in between the episodes that everybody skips anyway.
Yeah.
Like why aren't we, I mean, people still read magazines. Why aren't we more focused on a 10-second clip that plays on the side of a website banner of, I do see you do some of it, but like as a whole, not really. I think we all need to understand too that like these Cabela's and these Bass Pros and Shields, whatever, the big box stores, dude, it's a thing. Unless they can truly
sideshows, aren't they?
If you can truly innovate and stay alive in the next 10 years as a box store, you've really done something cool. You've created an experience more than you have a retail shop.
That's exactly what Bass Pro's done.
Yeah, but like direct to sales, like Kuyu is,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have any overhead of a store. Their money is focused on marketing and research, product research. Like people dig quality. Like millennials dig quality. If you say this is the best fucking paint on the market, why is it the best paint?
Oh, just think about beer.
This. Yeah,
Beer's
craft beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
I'll buy a $10 pint. You will too. But
Any day of the week.
if it's the highest quality in the land.
Yep. And so that's why I think like we're buying less things, but we're buying more quality. Yeah. And so we're into the handcrafted, we're into the mom and pop, and we're also into the direct to consumer, the relationship versus you walk into Bass Pro or one of those stores anymore, and it's yes, they've created an experience for damn sure. They have the money to do so, like the capital.
It's like more like a 10-year-old.
But they're like the only one.
Yeah,
they're the only one doing that in our outdoor industry. We still rely on the Shields and the Cabela's and the Rogers Sporting Goods and all that to sell our products. Why? Like, why aren't you loading up a semi in the summer when it's off season? Because you can't tell me you couldn't sell a shit ton of decoys if you're putting them in people's hands.
Oh yeah.
Like they do great at their little game shows and game fairs, whatever they call them.
No giveaways and all that kind of stuff.
Sure, just being more aware of like what our because whether we like it or not, our old school is dying, and we're inheriting, and people want to continue the tradition of hunting. And I can tell you right now that I don't have a friend that goes and shops for hunting gear anymore without at least spending a half hour of research, asking questions of people that use it. Well, I mean, it's not like just go get a camo coat anymore, because now it's at a price point where it's almost an investment. It is an investment.
Oh yeah.
So you want to invest in
how many
something
seasons
smart.
are you going to wear this coat? You know,
you don't think about. You think Grandpa's old coats always lasted. Well, it doesn't fit for shit, and it's heavy, and he sweats, and it smells like hell.
Yeah.
And it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm wearing this jacket because it's much more comfortable, and it's also at a higher price point, which gives the illusion that it might be worth more to make or more quality. So if you can back something, an expensive item, with quality, then why are products like Realtree still putting their camo on shitty ass ball caps and beanies, like, and shitty ass overalls?
People are buying them, you know,
to an extent, but what's your margin there? I say fuck it all. You can go find that stuff anywhere.
But you're smart.
Be Realtree.
You're smart.
Like, be badass Realtree, not Jim Bob fuck all.
Well, Bass Pro in particular, and they did buy Cabela's, so it's all the same anymore. They market. This is my opinion of the store. They market to people that don't spend any time in the outdoors. Like when I go there,
totally.
I'm kind of like, okay, it's kind of like this, and when I go hunting, you know, but like this is dialed up to a 10, you know, like there's 50 elk right there, you know, and they're 10 feet away or whatever.
Yeah, and that's like an experience, because a lot of guys don't get 10 feet from an elk.
Exactly.
So like, damn,
that's what they're
Bass
selling.
Pro to see this shit.
I
feel
you're putting on what I say.
You're putting on your flannel at that point.
Absolutely,
you're getting manly.
Yes.
Yeah. Versus like, why don't you do your research, buy some shit that gets shipped to you, and then go on a mountain or go in the whatever sand hills, go in the Badlands, go wherever.
Like my mother-in-law, when we went to Springfield, she was all like, "Let's go to Bass Pro. Like, you'd like that." But we have the two kids with us, the 3 and 4 year old,
right?
And it's like, no, you're going because of them, which is fine.
Yeah,
they're gonna love it. They're gonna love this stuffed bear. You know, they're gonna love the waterfall,
the aquarium,
and that's what I loved when I was a kid.
Sure.
But like as a hunter and outdoors
you're
person,
appealing
like,
to the family. That's, he's going.
It's like, to me, it's like no. They don't sell Kuiu. They don't sell. Well, they do sell Under Armour, so that's where I go and look.
Yeah.
But like as far as the people that you're talking about, these companies,
innovators,
the innovators, they aren't there.
No, they're not, and they don't need to be. They really freaking don't. That's what's insane, because this market is so small and finite versus like you said with hiking and kayaking and climbing and all that. It's pretty universal as gear, but like you're not going to wear a waterfowl hunting jacket that's super insulated on an elk hunt on the side of a mountain.
No.
So it's very finite.
I don't think so.
Yeah. But I mean, it can be said for everything. I think the industry is I think we've got a long way to come to be like, wow, look what these dudes are doing. Yeah. This is really neat.
Well, there's
eventually
so much
we'll start hunting humans.
Shit.
We'll start hunting inmates. Come to
I
the
saw
Kuiu
that.
event.
I saw that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that hunting also, it's such a unique trade or activity or whatever you want to call it, because hikers don't have to deal with anti-hikers.
No.
That was weird.
I don't know what that was.
Like
hikers don't have to deal with anti-hikers or bird watchers. Or
no one's like picketing your hiking trip. You know, like you I don't even know what you'd say. Like,
and it's so funny,
don't step onto rocks.
The amount of funding that goes back to states for hunting anything, fishing anything, it's sickening. But you never see that shit.
No. Well, I said the common person doesn't understand that.
In mainstream, you never see that shit. So
as far as tags,
it's funny because, like, for instance, the largest wetland conservation group in our country is owned and operated and volunteered by hunters. Period. Sure, there's plenty of bird watchers. Sure, there's plenty of, wild waterfowl photographers and biologists, but I would say a very large percentage of people that are part of Ducks Unlimited are hunters. And dude,
I was thinking of Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation
that too.
Yeah. Whitetail.
QDMA. Yeah. So I wish the negative stigma would get off of it, because like I met someone at a bar I was eating at in Scottsbluff. I never try to wear my camo in public because people just get whatever.
Right.
I did. Fucked up. Had a vest on and like some brown pants and like a green shirt and my ball cap, and just rolled into town and grabbed a pizza, and she was like, I'm at this cool little brewery, and she was like, what do you do? And I was like, well, here's what I do, and pull my phone out and show some pictures of some pronghorn, some elk. I'm like, my guys are all killing these here. And she was like, she was mortified. You kill animals? And she like got served a salad, and I was like,
her burger,
eating her wings and her salad. And I'm like,
you kill animals?
I should have brought a burner here, we could have cooked elk while we.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
I know.
Oh shit! That's something we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Is your 2 elk, because it was your first elk experience.
For me, it was my first. Phil killed as well. So he was more or less up to bat first, like between the two of us.
Yeah. For listeners that don't know, Phil is a Zach's good friend that owns
Night Vision Rentals.
Yeah.
Night Vision Rentals. So
super successful.
Yeah, they're one of the only companies in our country that is able to rent out basically military grade thermal and night vision gear to the normal everyday consumer. Yeah. He did work with SpaceX.
He's done work with the military. That's the coolest part for me.
Yeah, he's done work with several large companies, a lot of milsim stuff. So he's definitely where he needs to be with that company. It's
total niche area,
he's a genius.
He drilled it, dude.
He really did. He's a smart dude. So he's just one of those guys that like I am totally comfortable with being caught in the mountains with in case shit hits the fan. I know he's just not going to roll over and quit. And so we made a decision after a bear hunt last year, like, dude, we're going to do this. We're going to go elk hunting, like some way, somehow. However, we're going to do it. And he knew a guy in New Mexico who basically sold out hunts that were on landowner vouchers, landowner tags, that ranches that butt up to national parks and forests that get completely overgrazed, fences fucked up, trees elk destroy these ranches because they're the grasslands. They're the foothills, the mountains, and the grasslands. They go back up the mountains in bed, and they come down and eat all day and go to the riverbed and make wallers out of ponds. And cattle do some damage, but like elk are the exact same way, if not worse. So they have a massive set of antlers on their head. A lot of damage can be done. So we meet up with this guy. He is from Pittsburgh, Kansas, which is crazy. Oak Valley Outfitters is his name. John Inman, great dude. Been doing this for 20-some years. He's got out of most folks that you can do research on or like look at, he's got the amenities and the locations dialed in. Like, this is not a pack in 30 miles, you're miserable as fuck. You may not see an elk, and then you go home. This is you show up at the ranch house, your boots are on a boot dryer every day, you're hiking all day, you're busting ass all day, it's palmettos and cactuses everywhere and really hot and rocky and shitty and rattlesnakes and whatever. But you have a home base where you can kind of gather yourself. And I think as a hunter, it's kick-ass to go do it out of a tent. I would love to do like a dispersed hunt. But for my first time, for the initial elk hunter, just learning the animals and spending more time concerned with the animals versus spending more time concerned about you surviving or not, you learn a lot more, I think. So the 4 or 5 tries I could have gone on my own and done my own thing. It would have been my own thing. I'm more of my most valuable tool is my time. So being able to align myself with an outfitter like him that was knowledgeable of the area, put us on the bulls every day, that is so valuable to me because I killed an elk in 4 days versus 4 years. And it would have added up the same way anyway with cost. Yeah. I mean, okay, say I would have went on 4 unsuccessful elk hunts. I know several guys that have hunted public ground that.
Self-guided.
Yeah, just you find the map, maybe knock on a door, maybe lease a place, maybe go on some public land, whatever. And they're hard hunts and they're super challenging, and I cannot wait to dig into that. But I definitely wouldn't have felt safe doing that knowing nothing about elk. That doesn't do any justice to the animal whatsoever. Right. You just go chase some animal you've never been immersed with ever before and just go try and kill it.
Well, I mean, forget the elk, the terrain. Yeah. You're going to deal with the terrain that you're not used to.
And my dad and I, like I said, we do enjoy hiking. We've been to some national parks that have been challenging, and we've done some, camp hikes where basically you go to the top of the mountain, the bottom of the canyon, and rough it for a few days and come back. And that knowledge is invaluable, but at the end of the day, with altitude and everything, being able to go back to a ranch house and like kick it and sleep in a bed and wake up the next and then 5 hours and go do it all over again was like priceless. So I'd say if you are teetering and on deciding, do I want to do my first Western hunt, invest the time in at least hiring a local outfitter, someone, and I guess just having a guide that knows where the fuck to go and how not to get hurt and where to be safe and what to look for. And it's worth your weight in gold if you can take the time to save up. Anybody, like I said, anybody can do anything. You just got to save up, break down, the cost of your hunt in 4 years, save that money up, and don't waste your fucking time wandering around aimlessly. I don't know, but to each their own.
Oh, that's a great way to start.
Sure,
now
it's a great way to start.
You've understood. You probably learned a lot from this guy.
Totally about elk behavior. I could not compare it to anything more than turkey hunting. Like, it's so vocal, it's so responsive, it's so. they are so fired up when they're in the rut.
Yeah.
When they're bugling and challenging other bulls and that shit, like you think you've seen a whitetail get pissed, these things are oblivious to their surrounding. They are so pissed off at anything that challenges them with their, harem of cows. It's incredible to see. I mean, so the night we spotted my bull, the night before, we scouted this area that Phil had gone a couple years previous and had shot a 400 plus inch bull. The first night, first sit, didn't kill him.
He hit him in New Mexico?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right outside the Gila. So this ranch we were on was actually a little closer to the Arizona side. We were on the west side of the Gila, and we're sitting there, and we hadn't seen anything that afternoon, so we were kind of surprised. It was a river bottom. It was hot. There's several wallows that are fresh. There was a couple apple trees growing by some old homesteads, just abandoned in the middle of nowhere that cool. survived for 100 years, and they're still producing. I mean, there's plenty of food, water, cover, and we're just glassing the mountainside, and John randomly bugles and gets a response like way over here, and then we glass and we see some bulls over here.
How far are they hanging out?
800,000 yards or more. They're like little bitty specks.
Okay.
And you just catch them in little clearings.
Okay.
And it's pretty thick, timber. It's definitely heavily wooded, lots of brush, lots of area for them. These big canyons, these rolling canyons. It reminds me so much of strip pits around here. But imagine them all on an incline and a never-ending incline. Yeah. So you're scaling everything as you climb these things. And then he bugled again. We didn't get a response. I want to say he bugled a third time, and he had moved. So the bull that had bugled and came all the way across the mountain and was in a vicinity where we had watched a spike bull come down the hill to go wallow at like last light. So we figured, all right, we need to get back to the truck. If that's where they're going to start funneling out of, we need to cut these off with the wind direction we have, get back to the truck, lay low, come back in the morning. So as we're walking, we see two more bulls come down, and they're one's, I would say, a solid 4x4, 5x5, 2-year-old, like a young bull.
You'd shoot him?
No,
okay.
Not at all. Not with what he had.
Okay.
I would say that.
Yeah.
All elk are huge. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Even like the spikes are just giant beings walking around.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked with a cow. But
yeah. But in this particular hunt,
this guy's lease, his ranch, where we were at, it was mature only. And I'm totally for that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So these two younger bulls come down. One's pretty good. But as the spike was down, these two younger ones come out, and he kind of clears out. And they come into the waller. And then it's dark as fuck. And we look, and all we see are these white fronts like coming down like this, and he lets out this rip-roaring bugle as he's running down the hill of this waller, and everything clears out. The cows included. And he's just spending time in this waller right next to the riverbed. It would have been way too dark to, I think, make an ethical shot on him. Yeah. But we thought, we've got him for the morning. The only problem was we were fighting the weather. It was, it'd get up to high 80s, low 90s during the middle of the day.
Wow.
They were bedding really early and then leaving bed really late. So there was midday activity was virtually none. It was more truly spot and stock in their bed. And the bugling wasn't really firing off. We didn't hit the rut just right. We were a little early. Second week of September, which is usually killer. Our moon phase was great. They weren't ready. Yeah. Biologically, they weren't on it like they were the weeks following. So we go back that morning. We stand at the hillside, kind of in the foothills of this valley that is adjacent to the mountain we think they're on. The river's in the bottom. They're probably 2.5 miles away at this point. We let out a bugle. He responds. We move a mile. We let out a bugle. He responds. We get into the foothills, these canyonous foothills in the timber, and as we're walking, wind in our face, he lets a bugle out on the other side of the mound, like the canyon we were on, like right there. And John looks at me and goes, "Get to that fucking tree." And he runs back 30 yards and finds his big stick and starts rubbing it on this tree branch, emulating a bull rubbing, and he's bugling and chuckling and the whole deal. And this bull is just, you can hear him thrashing on the other side, but then I see that young bull we saw the night before, the 4x4 at 20 yards. So I just like insert myself in this like pine tree. I'm standing there, brush all around me. He's staring at me. He's probably 17, 18 yards. I'm like, I'm going to have to shoot this bull. Like, I don't have an option.
Right.
He's going to blow. Yeah. The guy's going to be mad, but I've never killed a bull. So whatever.
Yeah.
He calls again, and the little bull kind of lets himself go downhill. That nice 5x5 we saw was probably a 3 to 4 year old bull, comes behind him, but kind of skirts outside of me. And there's one little lone ass tree that had been, I don't know if, had been just rubbed so hard for years that just lost its top or what, but it reeked of elk piss There was elk prints and shit everywhere. It was like their spot for sure. So I scurry over to that through an opening, and I remember like clipping my release and like literally telling myself, calm the fuck down. Like calm the fuck down. Because I was going to butcher their shot. Totally just biff it at that point. And so I grab my rangefinder and I come up over the ridge, and all I can see is neck to ass and the tops of his splits. And the mass, like he carried his mass out. Like his bases were not much smaller or not much bigger than like his tops. It was incredible. So he was rubbing a tree as big around as his coffee cup and had it just bent over, completely bent over. Bugle one more time, a little like a half bugle, and then just started pissing everywhere. And I was like, all right, 56 yards. I was like, fuck it. Scoot up a little bit. Scooted up 54 yards from canyon top to canyon top. And I let her go. I hit him a little high in his lungs, but double lunged him nonetheless. Thought it was a complete pass through because I lost my fletchings. And then I saw blood come out before he turned, but I mean it was the death kick of it was like shit, I'm dying. And he didn't go uphill. He went downhill. So he went towards the water, meaning I'm dying. I need to get to some water. I need to get to safety.
Oh, okay.
You go uphill, it's harder to get uphill.
Yeah.
You're using more energy.
Yeah.
He wants to conserve energy, hide, get to water.
Right.
And made it, I wouldn't say probably 130, 140 yards, so over 2 dumps, and was at the top of the next one. It crashed. But what was really neat after the shot, these cow elk started barking. I don't know if you've ever heard that, and I hadn't. It's like a whitetail doe will blow at you, and it's just the most awful sound in the world when that happens, especially when you're like this quiet, windless timber. Yeah,
Can't do it.
I just want to tin ring them every single time. But so these cows, they start barking, and they're barking back and forth downhill. Yeah. And we're like, the wind's in our face. There's no way they saw us. They're 2 canyons over. We get some glass on them. They're like looking back and barking, looking back. They finally stop. And one of the younger bulls, I think, we had heard him walk. He barked once and then stopped and went back up the mountain. I kept the only rocks that blood were on, like the only blood spots we found on the rocks until like the last 20 yards when it was everywhere because it finally filled up his body cavity enough to spill out. Right. I shot him slightly quartering towards, so it wasn't a whole lot of lung, but what had happened, I didn't know. My arrow broke off right after the fletchings. Because it was in the cavity. The broadhead dug into the rib cage on the opposite side, poked through the skin, and got the whole arrow in the body cage. When he starts running with those shoulders, shoulder blade cut the arrow in half. Holy so the arrow actually flipped back around, and I found it just embedded in the lungs the opposite way of which I just was shredding it. As he was running, his shoulders were moving it. He was killing himself, essentially. Ooh. So that size of an animal, I mean, what we guessed, his teeth were down to his gums in the front. Yeah. His ivories were cavitied out. The guy was like, this is a 10 to 12-year-old bull. Like, he didn't even finish out on the top. Like, he didn't finish his whole... He was on the decline of his antler growth for his life. Right. And that's normal. Like, we're proud to kill anywhere from a 5 to 8-year-old whitetail. That's an old buck. Yeah, like, right. That 10 to 15 to 14 range, from what I've been told, not a genius, but it's pretty easy to Google that shit and listen from everyone. But that's the range you kind of want to try and kill your bulls. And if you want to manage a herd, that's the goal. So we found him after not a very long blood trail, and I remember he was just entangled in these pine trees. Like, he just literally face planted and just died right there. And I remember like looking, I see the bases, and his bases, like, you can barely see hair in between his skull. Like, they're so big. And he looks at me and he goes, "You just shot a fucking giant." I'm like, of course, like the luck. Of course, my first bull, I shoot a giant. Now I'm like, how you gonna top it? What the hell do I have to do now? No, elk hunting is an amazing adventure. I would do it anytime, in any state. But I remember pulling his antlers out and just like looking at his face, and just like he had a big tear in his ear and a scar across his nose. He's just this old gnarly bull. His spinal cord was like protruding through his skin at the top. He had his hindquarters were smaller than Phil's elk's shoulders. He was so worn down. He had so much muscle deterioration. Yeah. He really wasn't a super meaty bull. He was tall. He was really tall. I remember his body just being the width of a fridge. So for me to miss that target, I was like, you better fucking,
calm the fuck down. Yeah,
calm the fuck down. Yeah, and that helped. It really did. It was like, it's just a target. It's just an elk.
Well, what are you supposed to do when they come barreling down like that? Like, you're telling me the story, and I'm over here like.
That's what I was expecting. It was like, if he charges his call and he's at 10 yards, what do I do? Like, how would I I would just come apart. You draw and just shoot. Yeah. Because they may run, they may bolt and only take off 30, 40 yards to figure out what the hell you were, because they're so fired up. That's why they're so much like turkeys. I think they are they are so mind fucked by pussy. It's not even funny. Like they're worse than the male human.
Yeah, I know it goes.
Yeah, they're worse than the male human. So it's a fun experience. I got to be a part of a couple kills, inaugural elk kills out in Nebraska. There's a really special resident tag. Nebraska residents are able to draw.
Inaugural. What's that?
Yeah, their first elk kill.
Oh, okay.
And it's the first time they killed an elk. And it was funny. One guy had been putting in for 10 years, and one guy's only hunted 3 years of his life and put in for 2 years.
Oh,
Those were the clients we had.
That's great.
And so we basically, Cody goes and finds these bulls. And that's the guy I work for at Heartland Pride Outfitters. We partner on some stuff down here, and then I'll help him out west. It's a fun gig, treats me right, clean nose, great operation. He scouts his ass off and finds these farms in the Wildcat Hills where these bull elk just live. And they'll live in these like standing crop circles and not move till late at night, or they're moving out early morning. Like it's incredible because there's crop circles at the base of these mountains. And if you're not finding them there, you're finding them in all these canyons. And I mean, there's some definite places where you're like, I see why they call these Wildcat Hills, because there's mountain lions out there. There's sheep. There's antelope in the bottoms. There's elk. There's bear. It's really incredible to see the different species that are in that specific region of the state. And that's really one of the only places, I would say, northwest Nebraska, you can go kill an elk. So it's highly sought after. Yeah. It's close to Wyoming, close to Idaho, close to South Dakota. And they're not overhunted. I mean, both the bulls these guys killed were true mature animals with a great set of antlers. And for their first bull ever, it was like, one dude shot his at like 25 yards. Cody called him into his lap and just blasted him at 25 yards. Yeah. So it was a cool experience. Elk hunting definitely changed the way I view my interests. I'll always pursue whitetail, turkey, waterfowl, but that's definitely that western mountain. It's definitely terrain driven. I could be chasing jackrabbits out there and still it's just as magical because you're out there in the shit. You're this small in comparison, where here I can plant a food plot, put a corn pile, pattern deer, set a tree stand on a creek bank where I know they have to walk by. That place, they own you. I mean, that's you are not alpha male out there. So to be able to be successful in the West is just interesting, and man, it's incredible to experience, for sure, for anyone to experience. I think
you're gonna do it again.
Yeah, the antelope guiding for sure. That so on that, what we do is, if it's real hot out, we mainly focus on water holes with ground blinds. It's a comfortable, ethical shot. You're in a blind. It's hot as fuck and it's boring as fuck. But guys capitalize. You'll see several goats in a day's time to pick and choose from, to pick the most mature, and it's interactive, and you get them close. And or we also do spot and stock hunts with more of my physically able guys. It's all archery, mind you. Unless you're a resident and you draw a rifle tag, no non-resident can come shoot antelope with a rifle. So it's all
that's also in Nebraska. Okay,
the same area we operate at the elk camp, and so we're decoying them. So we're anywhere from 1,000 to 70 yards away. If you can position yourself on the right range, side, dude. But you can see forever out there. It looks like the moon. When you get in the foothills out of the Wildcat Hills, it looks like the moon. Right. Like it's not.
I saw the picture you put on Instagram.
It just looks like nothing.
It looks like Mars.
Yeah.
That's why I put on your post.
Right. Yeah. So you definitely capitalize on the rut. We had bulls that would at 800 yards take off when they saw the decoy.
Wow.
We had bucks that would take off 800 yards when they saw the decoy. We had bucks that barreled into 17 yards when they saw the decoy, nonstop, pump the brakes, ears pinned back, neck swollen, like sidestepping, like ready to charge my ass. So you have to find the right attitude of buck. You have to find the right harem to chase, and it's a lot of failure, but it's a lot of fucking fun. Like these dudes to be able to draw back and like sling an arrow at an animal that just ran from a couple hundred yards to 20 is incredible to watch.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And one of the guys actually got to take, it was his first bow kill ever.
Oh wow.
So it was.
How old was that guy?
Mid 30s.
Really?
Or no,
so
mid to late 20s. Sorry,
okay.
he was a younger guy.
Okay.
Rifle hunted for a while, big gun nerd, and wanted to come do this Nebraska deal, so he bought a crossbow. It's archery only. Okay. And missed a few times. We had some blown stocks, and that's all a part of it. But we were averaging a day to a day and a half maximum on people tagging out, and these were 5-day hunts. Because there's so many goats in that area, the population is so unreal due to archery only and a limited resident rifle tag that it's a lot like the deer population of Kansas or Missouri or Nebraska or whatever, Iowa. It's just incredible in that area. And then as you go west into Wyoming, it gets even crazier. But they do a rifle season, which is really, you you see some pretty good bucks come out of Wyoming for sure.
The meat's got to be
especially,
incredible.
Dude, you hear guys that say it sucks?
Really?
And like we had some right off of a backstrap of one that was killed 3 hours prior to eating.
Yeah.
And we threw some, I mean, they eat sage to begin with. I like sage anyway. So we threw some sage on there. We threw salt, pepper, seasonal, and olive oil. And like, that's it. Seared the shit out of it, cut it open.
Yeah.
I don't know. It tastes great.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
I'm all good. Yeah. They're a real lean animal. They're super small. Their bodies are really they are our fastest land mammal. So they can get up to speeds of 60 miles per hour in open range, and that's no doubt. Like you spook one of those things.
Are they hopping?
They start out and they book it, and they just like Speedy Gonzalez legs. Mm-hmm. So I just again that whole Western experience and like you just being out there and like constantly reminding yourself of water. Constantly understanding how the sunlight's affecting your stock travel, playing the wind, using a rock as big as your torso to hide your entire body and like come up and it's just so badass. It's just so
sick.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a lot more interactive than I would say your traditional whitetail hunting or anything like that here in the Midwest. There's just nothing. Western Kansas produces some great mule deer, and I think if you go far enough west, you can get into a few antelope as well as the panhandle of Oklahoma. But I don't know. I'm just very partial to that Nebraska area. One, because our lodge there is beautiful, and two, the area we get to hunt, like the true scenery of it is nuts. I mean, you're in the Platte River Valley, you're in the Wildcat Hills, and then you're also in like these massive plains that extend for thousands of miles, and it's all in a 50-mile radius. So
that's so cool.
It's not like here all. it's you get like 3 different ecosystems in that small of an area. So
when you say Nebraska, I'm like, no way. Where's the cornfields? You know,
you don't think about it. No,
Nebraska's just like Kansas's older brother upstairs.
Yep, that's exactly
what I feel like.
Yeah,
you know?
Nah, nobody really thinks about the Western experience there, but it's neat. I'm starting to get into it. I'm totally a novice, totally a rookie with the whole Western idea of hunting and spot and stock, but it changes the way you like. You'll sit in a tree stand and go, fuck.
Yeah,
like I want to get down.
Yeah, I could like
imagine. Sneak this creek bottom up to that side of the field. You know. And there's guys that get it done that way in the Midwest. I don't know how. There's so many fucking trees for them to hide in and obstacles. And
the leaves and the crunch of the sound, you know. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is, for sure. But
what's your opinion as far as like international hunting, like big game of Africa? Or, I mean, Africa's the king of international
I think
hunting.
it depends definitely on what you're after. Like, for instance, these game reserves... Like, you can go to West Texas and hunt kick-ass terrain and shoot a wildebeest.
Shit, we saw some.
Right.
That was crazy.
Exactly. So, those axis deer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can go get that exotic feel and stay in here. I think at that point, and I don't want to speak for anyone.
Yeah.
Here's my personal opinion. It's a status deal. It's a...
I killed this.
Look at me, I shot this African animal that had no fucking idea what was going on.
Like,
I had a PH drive me around.
Yeah.
I got out, put my sticks out, blew it away with a rifle, threw it in the truck, and we kept going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how all international hunting is. Like, I think I'd like to get into, if I go to, like, Germany, like, or even Russia, like, those the hog hunts that they do there.
2 places I would not even think about hunting. That's not, like I said,
I have friends
the
that
first one.
Hunted in Iran for sheep or different type of goats or sheep.
Does that work the same way as in America, like tags and pH and all that kind of stuff?
No, it's like booking a fucking hike here. It's like, just pay this dude, he'll take you up there and we go shoot this thing.
Oh, that's cool.
At least that's how it was from the gentleman that all my Super Slam guys that have told their worldly stories. It's like so vastly different. It's all about money there and who you can pay to go places. Like, he sat and had dinner with the Taliban in one of the mountainsides, but like, I guess there's different types of Taliban. I have no idea.
Really?
But they pay these guys for trespassing fees. So why would you... Basically, you can come through this pass.
Yeah.
Won't cut your heads off. Here's $100.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. But you're heavily armed. I mean, you have guards and stuff like that. So. And like Mexican duck hunting, it's incredible in February. It's
what? Seriously?
Super dope. Yeah. And you get to shoot all sorts of different species that don't make it through our Midwest flyway. So.
Yeah. Is there anything in the Amazon?
I don't know.
That'd be cool.
There will be.
Seems like there's got to be something down there.
Bezos will own it one day, and then he'll sell it.
Oh, fuck.
The Amazon. But no, I don't know. I think there's so much to do here. And, dude, there's people that are worldly and people that aren't. And I like to think of myself in that middle line. I'm happy with where I am.
Yeah.
I don't have to go hunt in Iran and feel accomplished. But there are folks that have that drive. It's like, I want to go hunt in the most dangerous place possible.
Jim Shockey.
Yeah. And then you see guys that pay for 20 animal safaris on a national park that they pay a trespassing fee to the government, and you know, I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, America, we lead. I feel like we lead the world in this hunting game.
We were the world's first wildlife conservationists,
right?
And that's pure fact.
Yeah,
like we led the way in thinking we have to preserve some shit for our wildlife, or we're gonna decimate them.
Thank you, Teddy.
Right. And, you know, you see the commercial duck hunting and stuff like that went on in the Chesapeake Bay, and they're loading nails and glass shards and punt guns and just wiping out 100 canvas bags just for pillows and oil. It's like, and meat.
Well, I guess that's the whole like buffalo and antelope and everything.
Yeah. That's an incredible animal to hunt, by the way. They circle their young, and then they really spook. They take off for 3 miles in a line, and they don't stop. They don't stop at all till they are like so far out of sight they can't even. You couldn't fathom catching up to them.
Dude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine killing them with a bow.
I don't know how that would go.
How could you?
Yeah, it'd be a lot like the antelope deal. It'd be some far shots, but you'd have to use your terrain to block yourself off. And
I saw one on YouTube that was highly unclimactic. He like this dude, he gives like a whole monologue and the whole herd's right behind him. He's like, I came out here, I got my bow, I'm going to shoot this buffalo.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Remember?
Is
he from here?
Oh, no.
Oh.
He like just turns around, he's like, that one, and shoots it. Oh. It had to be like a tame herd or something.
Oh yeah, there's hyphens all over Wyoming and stuff,
like that,
for sure.
Because they just stood there, and it was kind of like, oh man, this is.
Well, that's the thing too with elk. Ouch. I was nervous, as I know I've seen a lot of times where they get shot and just stand still and everything just kind of goes, what the fuck?
After they've been hit, what would you do then? Shoot
I don't know.
Again?
Oh yeah, just fling another one.
Hell yeah!
A guy that was in camp with us in Nebraska said he's gonna triple F his elk, and I was like, triple F. He said, fire till they fucking fall. I was like, dude, I will take that. That's ethical as could get. Yeah. There's no wondering at that point. So it's what he did too. He dumped the clip in this bowl. I was like, shit, dude.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, it was either that or we were losing him down in the canyon. So he made it happen.
Yeah. You ever been bear hunting?
I did. I went last September with Phil. It's neat. They move through the woods so quietly and so interestingly. It's very eerie and creepy walking out of there.
Oh yeah.
I went to film him. We got his kill on film. He handed me his bow.
It's a black bear.
And I shot mine like 30 minutes later. So it was a total shit luck deal. Like this first night in camp.
I see a pattern here.
I don't like it because then it makes the hard stuff seem really hard.
Yeah.
You get spoiled. But the guide was just like, all he did was like he ran the camps. Like you had a place to camp and you had like a tree stand to go to. And that's the farm you hunted, whatever. There was no like spot and stock. There was no intense guiding or anything. It was just
they baiting these bears.
Oh yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. That's why I was like, I don't know if this is my style. I mean, you're shooting them in a pile of honey and M&Ms and.
But isn't that kind of like the same mentality as far as like go with this elk guide? Like just do a bait, see what it's like, and then
because then you go to British Columbia and something like that and spot and stock and that's right. My point.
So you can tear your dick off.
But this was more of like an invite deal. I had not really planned on doing it.
Okay.
A tag became available and I went and filled it, and it was just. It's so funny. You go to each camp and like there's so much more serious activity going on in an elk camp than there is in a bear camp.
Really? A
lot of boozing. Well, it's evening hunts only for the moment, unless there's a cold front.
Yeah.
They're already at the bait pile eating of a morning, so you're totally blowing your bears out of the area. They don't really move much during the day. They're pretty lazy animals, so you get to kind of sleep in.
Yeah.
There's some creeks to fish right around there. I don't know. It's definitely a good old boy. Like we don't take this too seriously.
Right.
We can get fucked up. And hang out and share hunting stories and cook and.
Yeah.
We're elk camp. Everyone was silent of a morning. Everyone was silent at night. You're just like, fuck.
Just because you've used every
so
ounce.
Hot. Yeah. And you're chugging water and you're eating food and you're like replenishing and then you pass out.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't one night that we had with the other folks that were there hunting as well, had a single like roaring rager, like a whiskey night.
Yeah.
We all brought whiskey.
Just never got to it.
Didn't touch it.
Never got to it.
I think I had a shot after I killed mine. That was like it. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon after I finished, or right before I gutted or whatever, or started to quarter. But that's where like, so definitely you tie in. So you get all this meat, right? What do you do? I've had several people like, what do you do with that thing? You fucking eat it.
Yeah.
So,
hell yeah.
And this is the first time. So I wanted to really try this out. I'd never had like game meat processed before, to jerky or sticks or whatever. So I took it up just north of Pittsburgh here to Arma at Joe's One Stop, and I think they just reopened their wild game locker, so
Nice.
they're doing processing and stuff like that now. And
Nice.
and so I paid for some jerky to get done. I probably only brought like
We're talking bear, or are we talking elk?
this is the elk.
Okay.
The bear I actually made stew out of repeatedly. It was awesome. It was killer.
Sounds really good.
And there's not much meat on those things.
Really?
Believe it or not.
How much weight did you get? Or
I mean, like you can get just as much, if not more, off a whitetail. I mean, and I shot a 283-pound bear.
wow.
There's so much bone density and so much length.
Okay.
And their back straps, they don't really use them. I mean, their hindquarters, I'd say, are pretty decent size.
Yeah.
But like the neck meat, well, the neck's this big. You know.
Yeah. Right. Pretty short.
There's not much brisket. There's not much really.
Right.
They look. I'm serious. When they are skinned, they look like a human or a squirrel, or like they're really tiny.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. As far as their structure, and so I got some elk meat done, but I mean, it was just the work it takes to hack one of those things up.
I can't imagine.
Dude, it's so
Deer's
fun.
hard
It's
enough.
so rewarding, and then it makes deer feel like a breeze. Like
I
we were
bet.
cleaning antelope after these two guys killed their elk in a 12-hour span. It was like, Jesus, like it was like Jordy and I whipped an antelope out in a matter of maybe 15 minutes.
Done.
Quartered, caped, like head off, in cooler.
It's just because the elk is so much bigger. There's so much.
Like you have to dissect it in chunks. If you can get a whole elk backstrap out at once and hold it and like by yourself do it, kudos to you. But
Yeah.
I said fuck it, and it was like 2 foot
chopping
chunks
it up.
done, 2 foot chunk done, and
Does that change like your idea of if you were to do like a backcountry hunt and had a quarter out in the dark
no, that's
wilderness?
that's my like. So luckily we got this elk down to the bottom of this mountain, and met a like the rancher's UTV that goes through the meadow and the river bottom.
Yeah.
So we were able to get him in back to the truck
Right.
a lot quicker than we were being 4 or 5 miles in. We're about 2 miles in from where we parked. So it wasn't all that bad. But yeah, that definitely, I mean, that's a man's man right there.
Dude, that's nuts.
Yeah. And I respect it totally. I just never would go into it green. Like I would even consider going into hunts without a tag or weapon and just fucking following a guy and just watching.
Right.
And like helping him quarter and helping him and just be a pack bitch.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, this is how this is done.
That's
okay,
good.
cool.
That's a pretty good idea, actually.
Yeah. Just find someone that needs some help. I mean, I don't know. It's such a brother communal thing. These dudes that elk hunt by themselves scare the fuck out of me. I don't know.
I'm thinking of Green Tree, man.
Why would you ever? What? I don't know.
Adam Greentree?
Uh-uh.
Oh, fuck, man. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Him
know.
and Cam Hands are really good friends. Adam Greentree is a Australian bow hunter, big Hoyt guy.
Mm-hmm.
And literally that's his thing. He just goes out into the wilderness for 2, 3,
Remy,
4, 5
Remy
weeks.
Warden, same guy,
Same dude.
type.
Exactly the similar guy.
Yeah.
Like Adam went out to, I want to say Wyoming, and he had like this pistol that this police officer friend of him gave to him to protect him from grizzlies. And long story short, he gave him the wrong bullets.
Oh,
and
shit.
he's doing his Instagram story, and this fucking mother bear is standing up and charging and doing all this kind of stuff. And he, during the story, he has the gun. He goes, "If she charges one more time, I'm gonna shoot her." Like that's how close it got. And then come full circle, he came back to camp. He gets an elk or whatever, and he goes, "Oh, those are the wrong bullets. I would have pulled the trigger and nothing would have happened." Like death, pure death. But yeah, totally. You should look him up. He's a huge Instagram guy. His wife, Kimmy Greentree, who's super sexy, also hunts. And I think they're in tour in America right now doing like antelope or something.
Cool.
But super cool. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple times.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Just no joke.
Joe
guy.
gets some serious talent in there.
Yeah,
Some
he's
cool shit.
yeah, he's a good dude.
What else you got, man? What else do we want to dredge up?
What are you up to these days?
Currently, selling real estate.
Yeah.
Selling my ass off, getting prepped for my first round of deer hunters to come in, bow hunters to come in. All I do is hunt, basically, is what we've come to the conclusion
When are
here.
you going to go hunt whitetail? That's the
This Friday.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually don't have anybody in, and
So
well,
you just
I'll probably
found
sit tomorrow. I'll probably sit tomorrow evening.
Okay.
I'll probably sit Friday. I'm just not a big fan of hunting in the morning before the rut. And there's so many different arguments and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not comfortable hunting whitetails where we live in warm temperatures. There's not much area they need to go to get hidden.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're in Wyoming, North Dakota, more open areas where they're in this creek bottom. They could be in every single tree row out here.
Right.
And you'd never know because we have these big, expansive, massive covered hedge trees on all of our fence rows. And it's like that's in western Kansas, that tree row is killer. Here it's like just another fucking tree row.
Right.
So the warm weather stuff doesn't appeal to me as much until the rut really hits, and then that's when I think your access points are just so crucial. So I've got a farm set up now that it's only 80 acres. It's just one of those, you can pattern deer all summer, but I laid eyes on 1 or 2 deer I had all summer long of all the bucks I had on camera at a mineral site that I had there next to a water source. I saw 2 of those bucks during the rut out of, say, 10.
Yeah.
And saw 8 to 10 other bucks I've never laid eyes on in my life. So it's just it's a heavy timbered strip pit bottom, just a gnarly farm with all these killer ass access points. And I don't know, it's been great. I've only been on it for a year, and I think I'll sit there. I did get this like weird itch when I got home from elk hunting. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go out of an evening and bring my bow and shoot a doe on the ground and see if it can be done. I actually ended up passing 3 different does because I had laid eyes on this buck down the other end of my food plot. Got around on him, and he got to like 60 some yards, but he was in this like CRP field that was head high on him. Yeah. And all I could see was this up, his head up. So didn't make the shot, but it was like, I could do this here. But in the rut, they're running the fuck all over on that place. So it's just, you might as well stay isolated and hunt that way. But it's definitely an exciting time of the year. I now believe that my favorite month of a hunting season is definitely September.
Really?
Dude, there's so much other cool shit to do. You can still hunt whitetails early. You can still pattern them in the summer for their summer patterns.
Right.
You can go hunt antelope. You can go hunt elk. You can go hunt mule deer. I mean, you can go all these western hunts. Yeah. And you can do it. And because I feel like the current temperatures there, whatever you're wherever out west you're hunting, you can always bank on it being hot. You can always bank on water sources and bank on anything that's edible, and it just makes it that much more fun to like, you can pursue 2 to 3 different species in a single given ranch or farm or public ground or whatever. And I just think I'm gonna like focus definitely more. I mean, I love the rut, but you and I both know it's a 10-day window when it's on fire, if that, and then it gets tough, and then you got to focus back on food source. And I don't know. I mean, I definitely, I think this year changed me a lot to see September is pretty badass.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to do.
Some super unique experiences.
Yep. As far as hunting.
So, I mean, when you say like, you can go elk hunting and antelope hunting and all that kind of stuff, like how does one mediate the cost of all that? Like,
you don't.
You
go broke.
Yeah.
You go broke. Quit buying fucking deer leases. Quit buying tree stands. Yeah. Quit buying trail cameras.
I mean, like instead of getting a guide, can you just get a tag and go? Would be the cheapest way, right?
I would say start out antelope hunting.
The least amount.
Because I think anyone can really go learn antelope quickly.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much public ground that are conducive to antelope because they're a plains animal versus the mountainous side of things that mule deer and elk like to live in. You'll get the best taste possible for the cheapest amount with an antelope hunt out west. And like, you do that and you just want more. You're just like, I've got to save for 2022 to go on that elk hunt in Wyoming, or I've got to start applying for points. And I think that's what's neat too, being a non-resident, is they do make you apply for those points and they do make you enter into tag lotteries. So it's not instantaneous over-the-counter all the time. Now in Colorado, there's definitely some over-the-counter options. I can't speak for New Mexico or Wyoming as much as far as non-res, but there are those Western options that are over-the-counter.
But over-the-counter would be least amount of success, right?
Not necessarily.
Statistically?
Not necessarily.
If you're a rookie.
It definitely appeals to the more public side of hunting and where those seasons are opened.
Yeah.
But you can still buy an over-the-counter tag and pick an outfitter. And he just takes you on a mule deer hunt or a antelope hunt on his private leases. Or, I mean, there's guys that definitely guide on public land. There's mixed emotions about that, but.
Why? Because they're using a public asset?
Yeah, but I think in those western states, you definitely have to have like a guide license. So you do pay something back, but. Right. If I'm paying a guy a couple $1,000, I want to go hunt somewhere I don't see another soul.
Yeah.
Or I'd like to think that that's the better option. Yeah. So. But again, I'm so green to it. I'm just excited to experience another September and really start like maybe focusing more on that as I get older. Because like, dude, at 50, like who knows? I could have one leg by then. Or I could have a fucking pacemaker. You never know. Right, yeah. So I'm young and able. I think the Western style hunting really appeals to me. So yeah, I think that's what I'm up to, trying to sell real estate to afford more of those experiences, because in the end, it really is about the freaking experience and immersing yourself in a new area or a new deal. as far as filming goes, I definitely say I'm heavily involved in the real estate side of things. I'd have a small doc project. I think it's more of a reality documentary, and it's a multi-series deal. I think I want to reach out to my proper channels about that and figure out, is that something it's kind of been done already, but not to the extent of not the diversity I want to do. I want to connect hunting guides and ballerinas. I want to connect truckers and CPAs. I want to connect, your heart surgeons to your pig farmers. But I want all of them in their career and where they're at to be the first generation of what they do. Right? So you would focus on people who are doing what they do as first generations. So it doesn't matter the field.
That's you.
I'd like to keep it. I think I could kind of relate to that. So I think directing something like that, or any sort of
like a web series.
I don't care at this point.
Yeah.
It really isn't like, I don't care where it goes. I just know that it can be out there and it can be done, and it's still, at the end of the day, if I make a $0 income on it, it's a portfolio. I can go, well, produce that series, check that out. So there's some twists and turns to it, and I think combining of some of the characters would be neat. Right now I've got 3 solid guys that have given me the green light to follow them wherever they are, whatever they do.
Very cool.
And I think that's all great, but I've got to find the production dollars behind it. I've got to figure out the $500 flights to wherever, or the...
What do you think, like Kickstarter or
I don't know.
Sell More Farms? Or?
I think Kickstarter would be really cool. I think it still works. I think it's still definitely relevant. Again, everyone feels good to donate to stuff, especially if that stuff is relevant. I would like to tie a charity in of some sort that would benefit maybe like an underprivileged crowd, kids that just got it rough, to get them on their first generation career path. Cause no one grows up wanting to be a drug dealer. So I think it's really neat.
It sounds good until the DEA kicks in your door and you're like,
sure. But you saw what your dad did, or you saw what your mom did, and you're like, most of the time we do that. So there are folks that see what their mom did and see what their dad did, and they're like, I have no interest in any of that, but I love them and I want to be a part of their life and make them proud. But here's what or fuck it, they don't have to have parents. Like, it doesn't matter to me. The real upbringing. It matters to me that they're the first generation of any sort of relation that they have, whether it's a distant cousin, that's all they know, or if they know nothing at all about what their previous past is, that they've become something and a successful something, not a half-ass. So I think figuring that out, because these upcoming months, it's an off season for me, quote unquote. Not a lot of buying going on after the new year. Not a lot of hunting going on after the new year besides waterfowl mainly. And you can really focus on stacking up real estate listings and getting them prepped for the spring, and then putting together a documentary series and only one of the current characters would be weather based, but I still think it would be the final episode, because I'd want to follow him through a season. But I think it'd be done. I don't know. It could be killer, I think, if the right people are put in place, and
no doubt it could
do
be
it
done.
right.
Yeah.
That's
and you'll learn a lot about it too.
I just hate watching rushed, or especially in the outdoor industry. I know I dog on it a lot, and it sucks because I'm just so jaded. But you just see a lot of hunting documentaries that suck, like dick. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Not because the film quality is bad, because Jesus, any of us can go buy a 4K camera.
Hell yeah.
But there's no true spine. There's no storyline. It's forced emotion. It's forced shots. It's forced reality. Yep. And those people do it for a paycheck, and I get it, and good for you. But documentary work to me is so beyond. That's my only thing I could say I'm truly a hippie about. It's not the money, man. It's the experience. It's not. It's you can do so many cool things, and with that comes the income, comes the production deals, comes the network contracts, or the Netflix contracts, comes the whatever. Even if it's a product deal. Yeah. No
That's
kidding.
the way I operate too.
Sure. Yeah. With hard work comes great reward, and I think you bust your ass on something instead of just hurriedly do it and throw some bullshit together. Especially something that hits home as much as people's careers, because that's what we kind of define ourselves on as humans, what we do. Right. So
I think you'd be perfect to direct something like that, because you can relate. You can say you could your story about your first deer hunt. Yeah. You fucked it all the way. But you killed one
and got successful. Got shit ass lucky and drilled my first deer with a boat 40 plus yards. couldn't tell you to this day where I hit the animal.
Sure.
I don't know if I got shot or not. I didn't even think to look at my exit or entry wound. It was like,
who knows what a good shot was?
how do
back
we?
then.
Yeah, how do we? And now, how do we clean this animal?
Yeah.
And luckily, YouTube had just become like a big ass thing. So
Good deal.
We were on a friend's computer in the garage, like YouTubing, like
How to clean deer.
how to gut deer. Yeah, like. And I did it the most long, drawn out. I mean, it took 2 hours to do.
But
my
it's
first
so
deer.
it makes for such a good story though.
Sure.
And it's such a good experience. There's your whole hippie thing again.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. No, that's where I definitely feel. So you focus on different folks and different career paths that are vastly different. I would like to tie them all to the outdoors in some way, even if like the outdoors is a release for them.
Mm-hmm.
But does that bubble me to my smaller market, like a carbon TV only, or a MOTV only, or I don't know.
I would say not if you connected an outside lifestyle to it somehow. You know, that I always thought that was the one thing that the outdoor market missed. Was it was just you're always in the outdoors, and it's like it's like when you were young in elementary, like does the teacher ever go home? That's what I think about these hunters. Like, do they ever fucking leave the woods? You know,
yeah. Like how do they solve disputes with their wives or kids?
Yeah,
or how like
that's the one thing.
Do they get sick?
Yeah, that's one thing I loved about Uncharted. Is that we were at the dinner table with these guys, and then we were at the airports and stuff, and it was like, it's an outdoor show. It's more of an adventure show.
I remember there was an episode, Prefer Minerals. Look at other. Oh, jeez. There was another episode. There was where Ashley rolled a, what are the Argos? The little machines he pushes. Mm-hmm. She rolled an Argo with a guide, and he blew up. That was he had a show there for a little while called The Professionals.
Who's Ashley?
His daughter, Ashley Shockey. Isn't that her name?
Eva.
Oh, sorry.
Eva,
yeah. Jesus. Shows you
That's okay.
my knowledge.
That's all right.
So she rolls an Argo with a guide. He rips his ass. And they like review the footage of it and like what he could have done differently. So it was a documentary on professional outdoor cameramen and women and guides.
That's cool.
But it didn't last. That's what I'm fearful of. It's like, that's cool as shit. But it didn't last. Like it's still not. Uncharted is his thing. People love Jim Shockey.
I wouldn't think it would last though.
That's why
it's like a one season thing.
It is, and that's what's tough with, like, what my idea is like
Gen 1.
That's gonna be the name. Yeah. So I came up with this idea with Phil like over a year ago. Yeah. And I was like, it's got to be called Gen 1 because we're so obsessed with generations and like what we are.
Well, it sounds
fuck
like
it all. I want to find a baby boomer and a millennial, and like they're doing what they've done for the first time in their history of their tribe's existence or their culture's existence. Like, I want to find a fucking Ethiopian shoe cobbler in the U.S. and I want to find like a gay construction worker. Like that's where that's the vastness I want to like. Right. And it doesn't have to be about like gender. Like, I want a white farmer that is a first gen farmer. I want a black farmer. I don't give a shit. But I'm saying I'm trying to draw the parallels between the vast diversity we have and like how the people handle. And at the end of the day, if they're white, black, purple, yellow, whatever, and they're not good people, I don't want to fuck with them.
No, of course not.
Yeah, like that stuff doesn't appeal to me to have like some shithead on there.
Right. With the baby boomer, would you work backwards? Would you say like this guy's a doctor? He's the first doctor of his family. Everyone else is just factory workers. Would you maybe like go through his old archival footage?
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, like I think you could do that here. There's several companies here that we could reach out to that are first-time employees of that company. Right. That came from squalor, and then find the guy that's farming whose dad was actually an auto body shop guy that's never touched a tractor in his life as far as a tillage tool and a seeder and a harvester, combine, and all that. So you find that. Find an athlete whose parents are just deadbeat fucks that didn't do shit and didn't get off the streets. Right. Find even a doctor or whoever, which is such. I want vast difference in backgrounds and I want vast difference in character. So your mind is constantly like, holy shit, just all over the place. Yeah. And you're watching, it's like almost stressful to a point where it's like, this is crazy that there's people.
It's really, really.
What if you found like a senator's son who was like a successful cross-dresser?
A successful cross-dresser?
Like a Instagram cross-dressing
I feel like
star.
you might have a lead on this story.
You could.
Did you just pull that out of your ass?
No, yeah, like think of the diversity there.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, the story there, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to be very careful with that.
You have to make sure they're good people. You make sure you don't get killed.
Yeah.
Some hitman shows up at your
Well,
door.
hopefully you don't just end up with some
Or maybe,
psycho.
maybe a preacher. Yeah, sure.
You know.
But you want to push those limits for that production value, and it's all about production dollars and what you can spend and time you can spend and quality.
So what's your strategy as far as like, you know, I've done a couple documentaries and, you know, one of them was budgeted. The rest are just, you know, me hustling my ass off. But
Yeah.
as far as like documentaries or shows or anything that you work on or dream up of, like, what is your strategy moving forward to making that a reality? From you and me talking about the idea of Gen 1 and then actually making it a successful
continuing
production.
networking.
Yeah, you are
Like,
huge on networking.
I want my real estate buyers to know
Mhm.
that there's other shit to invest in.
Mm.
Like, you want to slap your company's name on the credits of this short film that 1 million people see?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. What's it cost? X amount.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can write that off if it flops. I can,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm.
And so, like, I think by finding the right, eventually, you have to have a portfolio. You've
Yeah.
got to have a loaded gun when you go into the ABCs, NBCs, Netflix.
How do you get there?
You shoot a documentary for free. You've got to find, even if it maybe, okay, like Bull Creek.
Uh-huh.
Like, I go and shoot their whiskey story. Probably not going to charge them a whole hell of a lot.
Sure.
But I just create a story about whiskey, and everyone loves whiskey, or thinking that America loves whiskey, or
Right.
not everyone. A lot of people can coincide with loving whiskey and loving America.
Yeah.
And so,
Small
even though it's
businesses
Irish or whatever,
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's definitely something that once you have, it's just creating a portfolio and utilizing that network, knowing the right
Like-
people to like drop this to.
Okay.
Like,
Like you're not just sending cold emails and stuff. Or
I
are you?
have.
Yeah.
I have to Carbon TV. I have to different real estate firms and sometimes you get nothing,
Sure.
no response.
Right.
But as soon as you can have something, like if I send an email with a YouTube link, or I send an email with a film poster, or I send an email with a frame grab of some sort or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's a loaded gun. It's like, oh, okay. Sorry, man. It's like this kid did some shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is
yeah.
kind of cool. So
you're focusing much more on networking. Like you like face to face.
yeah, I want to build my nest so that
Yeah.
like when a Gen 1 idea comes again,
Yeah.
I can like, because I do have an end goal of directing a documentary one day, or creatively directing one,
Yeah.
possibly being, you know, the director of photography too.
Is that the goal? Is that your goal?
Yeah.
Like
With
overall?
docuseries,
Just
with
an overall
docuseries,
life goal.
it's a facet of what I want to be.
Okay.
I want that to be,
Yeah.
in my mind, an investment.
Yeah.
I want to be able to put out documentaries that make an income to make sense to continue to do these documentaries, because
Sure.
eventually you got to raise a family, right?
Yeah.
Or you don't have to, but I'm going to choose to if someone chooses to do that with me.
Yeah. Right.
Legally.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think my end goal is to
Mm-hmm.
is to create a nest egg for a family, working hard, doing what I love. If that doesn't come, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm definitely going to have a very well-rounded, experienced life.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to think that Dad was an entrepreneur, Grandpa was an entrepreneur, and he made it, and give some hope to kids that are like, fuck, this dummy can do it. Like,
Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah.
So just being I guess an example would be neat to say as an end goal, but I want to do it the right way. I don't want to do it working at the same job for 30 years. That's great that people do.
Sure.
I don't want to come across smug or cocky. It's just, I don't want to do that.
Right.
I've just made the choice. I don't want to do that. So you find a way. When you're hungry, you eat something.
Yeah.
So it's just, it would be neat to consider myself a creative director to get that creative outlet in my life expressed, because I do think that hunting photography and cinematography is really neat because I combine the two loves, but I also think there is a side of me that's like strictly creative. I can tap into that outlet that makes me feel whole and good and right, that I'm getting a little more creative than I am outdoorsy, maybe to an extent. So when I can combine the two, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When I can do one for income and have nothing to do with the other, I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Because guiding and filming are not the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
They are in a sense of having a forward vision and being able to see things happen in a semi-controlled situation. But other than that, there's really no other connectivity in my eyes.
Yeah.
For me, it's just something I like doing. I think it started when I was young. I made skateboard videos with my friends in Florida.
Nice. Okay.
I'm like, I stole my parents' camera all the time, made videos, edited them on the VCR, like went back, cut it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Tough.
And then like we would get the shot that we thought, right? We'd do it a couple times, run in the house, cut out what we didn't want.
Yeah.
Went back outside, and they were awful.
That's
but
a Rodriguez type
they were
thing.
so funny. Yeah, they were so funny, and so that's like where. And then I picked up my dad's still camera.
How old are you at this point? 10, 11,
10
12.
10 to 12 there. And then the wildlife photography picked up when I was probably 14. No, I was driving, so I was definitely 15 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely was taking my truck to local ponds in the winter and
Trying to
like
find
shooting ducks all the time,
Yeah.
like with a camera.
Yeah.
Like I was obsessed with getting waterfowl photography. No idea why, but
Dude.
it was just like, this is cool in a magazine. I know there's some places here I can do that. Like,
Yeah.
I want to go try that.
Yeah.
Because I was new to deer hunting, but I was even newer to waterfowl, and they enamored. It was kind of like my little elk kick here. It's like, this shit's so cool. This is the next best thing. Where waterfowl was that for me for quite a while. It's still very neat. I think more of it's just more camaraderie for me now than like a successful hunt. Successful hunts are icing on the cake with ducks. They have wings. They fucking fly.
Yeah.
They're really hard to fucking like be successful every single day and pattern. You can scout your ass off, but if they don't decide to fly that morning, they're not going to do that. Yeah, Mother Nature's the queen.
Drink some whiskey.
There. So, I think I receive a lot of gratitude from the control I'm able to have in artistic creating, like creative directing and being a part of any sort of team, whether I'm a fucking grip or a cam op or whatever. We can control it and talk about it and delegate and just hammer out really good shit. And I think I enjoy that quite a bit. So yeah, an end goal would definitely is just to invest in things that I'm able to do. And I think investing in general is smart. Stocks, property.
Bitcoin.
Sure. I don't know anything about it. I know nothing
We
about
can talk
Bitcoin.
about it.
You
There's
school
a
me.
miner right there.
You school. Oh wow. Oh nice.
Yeah.
You'd school me on that stuff. I'm very.
Shit, I don't know anything.
I'm very unaware, as far as cryptocurrencies go. So, I don't know.
You're already so deep
about
into
that.
everything else.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like, do you continue to be a jack of all trades your whole fucking life and never feel like I have a cornerstone here?
Dude, I'm getting to that point too.
Because like, think of a pillar.
Yeah.
They're well rounded and strong. But think of like the stronger pillars are on a square fucking base.
Yeah.
There's cornerstone. Like, what are your cornerstones?
Yep.
Like, you can have this cool ass round pillar that holds up some cool shit, but if there's some cornerstones on either side, they're a little stronger.
That's
so
cool.
And structurally, squares are stronger than cylindrical objects. So
right. And your idea of overlap.
You can be well rounded, but you can also have your cornerstones, I think,
Right.
and just be good at some things.
Right.
Versus like at some things.
Yeah.
But you tried it.
A whole
it was
bunch of
cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tucker Taylor's on the podcast. Do you know Tucker?
Mm-mm.
He owns the Ugly Fox Barbershop.
Oh, really?
In Joplin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen your work.
Yeah. He's a very interesting guy. Like most people have cool hobbies, but they kind of fall into most people have that hobby,
Sure.
He has hobbies that are like, what the fuck? Like, I like to make whips. He makes bull whips. Like, he just makes them. Like a grandma knitting a fucking sweater. He's making bull whips.
Wow.
And he knows, like, this is a Texas 2 roads.
Oh, wow.
And he hunts with falcons. He's a falconer. So he has like all
I had a
these
guy that did that too. He wanted to keep his turkey heads so he could fall turkey hunt in Georgia.
to teach him how to kill the turkeys.
To grab their fucking heads and fly off with them and like just go.
I've heard some weird stories.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were talking about, because he is one of the guys where he gets really into something, becomes expert at it. Like you've been dropping hunting terminology to where like I'm a hunter, but I'm just like, oh shit, you're just trying to catch it all,
Sure.
But he's the same way, and then he'll kind of get tired of it and go to the next thing. But he's so pulled out in such a thin way that he can't become a master of anything.
Sure.
So we were kind of talking about that. I was like, maybe 3 or 4 things. That's about the limit.
I like to think of a square. There's 4 cornerstones.
That's what made me think of it.
Or triangle, I guess. But you got to have cornerstones. You got to figure out what you're really good at and like go with that shit.
Yeah.
And try it. And if you're really good at a structured job, a corporate job, fucking go kill it. Because I know tons of wealthy dudes that have kids that are very loved and well provided for, and they love coming home and providing for their family, and they love structure.
Yeah.
They love structure. And there's guys that love fucking painting pictures in the middle of the French Square or French Quarter in New Orleans. And like, they fucking love that shit. And you could not put them in a coffee shop or an auto body shop or a desk job somewhere because it would fail. They would not be good at that. Yeah. They would not be good at that. So I've it's really neat being in our late 20s and seeing people, I think, grow up a little later than before. We're like, everybody's grandparents married at 18, first kid at 21 or even earlier. And it's like they didn't get that time to explore because I don't think at the time financially they had a family that provided, and every family had 9 to 10 kids. Yeah. And so there wasn't that expectation of creative expression or finding yourself.
Yeah, the philosophy wasn't out there.
No. There was no parents being like, you know what? I'm going to let my kids live such a comfortable life. They can make a choice. Yeah. And like, I'm going to raise them right. Or I'm going to teach a kid, not even my kid, a kid that hard work and work ethic can really pay off because technology is the new thing. Yeah. Who the fuck thought we would hop on boxes with glass and type and peck and talk to each other? Nobody. 50 years ago.
Oh shit! Or I'm thinking of Twitch, like watching video games. Like video game people that play FIFA make more than people that play real soccer. Get the fuck out of here! Ads and that's crazy.
Yeah, we're much more of an experience-driven culture. There's a BuzzFeed, and I'm not a BuzzFeed fan, but there's a BuzzFeed documentary series that is out on Netflix. Have you seen it?
Explain this.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's one
episode
with
the genetics.
Okay, yeah.
That's episode 2.
Yeah. There's one where like people make YouTube videos and they do weird sounds in microphones, like brushing of a comb, or like putting their whole mouth on the microphone. Yeah, yeah. And there's that one chick that eats millions of viewers.
That one chick she just eats things. She goes, the next time I eat is a banana. However, whatever it sounded. Bro. And she has a ridiculous amount of following.
Bro. What the fuck?
I don't know. Good for her.
But everything's out there.
Why didn't I think of
we couldn't do, sideshows and circuses were like, and artists, music artists were like the expressive, and film. There was some film out. But now you can do anything. So what the fuck's our excuse? To be a little bitch.
No, there's not.
There's not anymore.
No.
Like, I'm a firm believer. You can tell me, social surrounding. You can tell me upbringing. You can tell me anything in the world. You can't convince me that we can't do cool shit. Oh, yeah. Even if it's not to a certain scale. Right. You don't have to be, Elon Musk, but you can be a badass at your craft. Yeah. And people pay for craft. We're starting to get back into paying for crafts versus pre-made shit. Oh,
big time, yeah.
Like, again, the farmer's market mentality in Kuyu. They nail it. Like, they fucking nail it.
Etsy's really changed the game like that. Craigslist. What? I just saw something like called Facebook
Local.
The hookers off. Son of a bitch.
They took the hookers off.
Craig, why did you do that?
They passed this bill called, is it FOSTA or FASTA? I don't know the acronym, and I don't know if I'm butchering it, but it basically, it does not allow any more websites to post any sort of sexually driven encounters. Is exactly what it's geared towards. So
I'm just gonna type in FOSTA.
So they actually FOSTA. There it is.
Craigslist shuts down personal section
because of FOSTA.
I spent a lot of time on that section. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all done. It's done. It's over.
Oh man.
So these hookers are these willingly working prostitutes, male and female, are marching the streets, pissed off, saying we're not sex slaves. Yeah. We're not sex trafficked. Yeah. We choose to fucking make money. You're ruining it for us. And now it's less safe because we can't even vet our Johns. Right. Now we have to go work the street again. We can't do it from the comfort of our home, get an email, ask for a picture, ask for a social, and go fuck and make money and come back. And I hate to, whatever, sex is sex in some people's eyes, but it's a business, whether we like it or not, has been for thousands of years.
Oldest business in the book.
It's funny that we think a government's going to shut that down.
Oh God. It's the whole idea behind regulation. The whole drug war type thing.
Uber will capitalize on this. I think it's going to be fucked
fucking
up.
in the back seats?
Yes. Mobile sites. Mobile fuck sites. And I think they'll do it driven through their app, and somehow we'll be able to...
Why don't we do it?
No. I might lose my real estate license.
Come on, dude. It'll be awesome.
That's a pretty rough... The Southeast Kansas Pimp Association.
Hey, that's Zach Collard. He started to fuck me.
Oh,
no. Fuck me Uber.
No. Fuck me, yeah. That would be really rough and vulgar, but yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's interesting to see what our government tries to do.
Well, like I said, it's the whole idea behind regulation. Sure. Or we're gonna regulate, or we're gonna what's the word where they don't let you do it, where they took away the alcohol. Prohibition.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have the whole prohibition on marijuana, and then I've heard the whole argument as far as like, well, then I have to go buy from someone that's willing to go to prison to sell me this thing, and while I'm there, he's gonna say, hey, I just got some Coke. Do you want to try Coke? And it's
Yeah.
like, I came here for weed, but I guess I'll try Coke.
I'll get hopped up on some blow, yeah. Or worse yet, the state receives $0, 0 cents.
Yeah.
And it's something that everyone's willing to pay a tax for.
Yeah.
So
yeah, as far as purchasing it, and then the whole we throw all these people in prison and they cost us X amount of tax dollars and things like that. So
yeah, the FDA is bullshit.
yeah,
it really is insane. How? I got a question.
Yeah.
How do you think our current president's doing?
Oh God. Well, I mean,
you can use all sorts of, like, you can use an economic standpoint,
Yeah.
civil rights, blah blah blah. But I love asking this because we're 2 years in.
Right.
We're almost 2 years in. We're a month away from being 2 years in.
Right.
And that's plenty of time to show your ass or flop or fucking win or whatever. I think at least now we're so sped up. We're so quick with things.
Oh yeah. I'll preface this with this: I don't pay attention to the news at all. I probably should. I really probably should. But I don't.
The only news I pay attention to is political. That's the shitty
Really?
part. I need to pay more focus to film news, business news,
I would pay more attention to that.
farming news, and
Like,
I literally obsess over the crazy shit I see one side do or the other.
I just did it for so long, I just can't do it anymore.
Sure.
Like I was wrapped up in it deep,
Okay.
and on both sides, and I was super conservative.
Okay, then fuck that. Then have you seen a change in your life with the new presidency?
I have not. No, not me personally.
The only way I have is spending dollars. There's a confidence in spending now.
Okay.
As far as like, I wake up and go, thanks, Trump.
I will say that.
I mean, I hear the unemployment rate stats. I hear the black unemployment rate stats. I hear the income. I hear the GDP.
No. I will say that, like, when I ask people for money, like, hey, fund my fucking shoot, people are like willing to dish
There's
out
some
cash.
confidence spending wise.
There's a lot of money going around.
Sure.
That, like you said, people are willing to spend, and I've definitely noticed that to where, you
Our
know,
stock
when
market's
I quote,
changed.
when I quote somebody and I feel like, God damn, that's pretty high.
You couldn't
And
have
they're
done that
like,
in 09 or 10.
No.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it was I can definitely say there was a bigger difference, and I don't know if there's even a comparison because I'm 27 years old and haven't really experienced a market per se as hard as some folks.
Yeah.
When I mowed and we went through the recession, you know, the 07, 08, 09 era,
Right.
my landscape company that I owned with a friend at that point in time, like, truly didn't see a big dip. We lost some accounts. We had to lower some prices, but it wasn't like, fuck, we're bankrupt.
Devastating. Yeah.
Because the grass grows every goddamn day.
Yeah.
And there's people that, like, don't fucking like mowing.
Yep.
So for those that march around and say, my body, my rights, you know, not my president, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
if your life's controlled by a current sitting president in this country, I would say this country, you're full of yourself. You're bullshit. Or you're a multi-billionaire that could be affected by a tariff or whatever.
Right.
You're in a market that the economy is like every fucking thing to you, or civil rights is every fucking thing to you. I don't think we're at a point where there's even a job on this earth that well, I don't say earth. Let's say this little bubble we have called
Saudi
America.
Arabia, baby.
Yeah. That civil rights is someone's fucking fight tooth and nail here.
Yeah.
Like, let's all get over the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes, there's racism. Yes, there's discrimination. Yes, it's generational and traditional. But, like, a color of person is not getting killed in the streets with rocks.
Yeah.
Here.
That's, yep.
Sorry. Not happening. We're putting kids in cages. No, they're detaining fucking illegal immigrants that brought their damn kids across the border like dumb fucks and got caught.
Right.
Sorry.
Keyword illegal.
Keep the emotional immigrant. Yeah, keep the emotional out of immigrant. But
Yeah.
I would say I've seen a change in spending, and like, man,
In a positive direction.
and that's it. And I think there's an ebb and flow to markets. I don't know that Trump himself is waving a puppeteer stick and controlling. I think that election got us out of an era where a guy was in a recession. Period. Black, white, Republican, Democrat. His presidency was in a recession. Period.
Right.
This guy's presidency is on a growth spur.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
So everyone
No matter
knows
if
money.
he's-
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's just tough to say, my God, he's just changed my life. Or, my God, he's just really,
But people love to do that.
he's really cut me in the knees. I feel
love to
so
do it.
restricted.
They love saying that. They love saying
It's an easy crutch.
it is. I mean, if this presidency exposed anything, it's the radical left and right. You know, it shone the light on, wait a
The
minute.
fit throwing.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
was insane. And it still is insane.
I don't know how we'll last a 2020 election as a human race on this continent. Like, I think there will, I don't know. were on the verge of blood last time if we weren't already.
Dude, it was insane.
Like, people
Remember
were
all the
getting beat
riots?
up at rallies. Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
No,
I blatantly punching people. No, and both sides. It's not like the liberal was like, no, we're peace loving hippies. No, they were beating the shit out of Trump
Antifa.
followers.
Yeah. And then you have alt-right, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, don't fuck with them.
No.
Fuck that.
No, but and then I hate when the outdoors gets pulled into government. It's like,
always super conservative.
Like that, and it's like, don't take our guns. Like, don't fucking let them.
Yeah.
We're still under the Constitution.
Yeah.
Donate to the NRA.
Yep.
Be an active, safe gun carrier.
Yep.
Protect your family.
Yeah.
Quit fucking saying Hillary's going to take your guns.
Right.
Because Hillary ain't going to take your fucking guns.
No.
We will literally see World War III if there's anything that happens like it did in Australia. First of all, we are way too heavily armed of a country in comparison to anyone else.
How many more? Triple the amount of guns than people?
I heard some stat, and I don't know the validity to it, but it's mind-boggling to think because it does match with a hunting stat in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Wisconsin has the most tagged or licensed hunters each year in, year out, period, no matter what.
Wisconsin? Really? Oh, Michigan.
The state of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
The state of Wisconsin.
Okay, yeah.
And Michigan's rivals it too, and I may be backwards, but it's a fucking state in our country, right?
Yeah.
It has more registered gun owners within those whichever state it is than like a bucket list of whole countries outside of the U.S.
That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking
like
hilarious.
Alaska alone. It's like 85% gun owning residents. Something outrageous.
They're trying to survive though.
Of course, but because it takes a fucking boomstick until we figure lasers out.
Yeah.
It's or sonic weapons or whatever, controlled nukes, whatever you want to say.
Boy,
but
here we go.
Yeah, man. I hate this whole they're taking our guns.
Mm-hmm. But it fires people up, dude.
Yeah.
It fires me up when they start talking. I mean, I bought a pistol when Obama was, I think it was his second term, and a huge push went through. I think he made a
when
speech.
22 ammo went like through the fucking roof.
Yeah, it was about that same time.
And ARs were getting pulled off shelves.
Yep.
Or, excuse me.
Assault rifles.
Fuck no. Yeah.
High capacity magazines.
Sure.
I made sure to buy a 22 round magazine when that happened.
Smart guy. No, you have to.
How many bullets can I put in this thing?
Yeah, and I'm all for rights and shit. I mean, even like us sitting here doing this, talking about the topics we're talking about, it just goes to show who the fuck is really that worried about who's the president in office. Because I think at the level of which the people that are truly affected is so beyond a vast majority of the public.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm a sheep. I just think that live your fucking life, follow the rules, work.
Well, I'll say, I mean, like I said, I haven't paid attention to
follow
the news.
the rules to an extent, work.
Bend them where they need to be bent.
Yeah.
But I mean, I haven't paid attention to the news, like I said, and my life is probably better for it.
Sure.
So, I haven't really noticed.
You got to follow stuff like this.
Why the hell my car didn't start? Damn you, Trump. No.
Fucking Obama.
Yeah, exactly.
Those shitty batteries I got back in 2012.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the president's going to last, honestly. I mean, if we hit 2020, I mean, that might be the year where it's like, do we still need this position? Like maybe we just all vote on our phones.
Oh, okay.
You know?
I see what you're saying.
The second that
there's
something
going to be an Instagram star president, like the Hank Williams kid,
Let's
little
hope
Hank.
Not. Like an Oprah or like a Shaquille O'Neal or
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark
sports
Cuban.
team owner.
What about Kanye? I mean, God forbid.
I think we'll change the fucking name to CEO. I think we'll Chief Executive Officer, not Chief of Staff or Chief whatever.
Chief Executive Officer.
It'll be CEO
of United
of
States of America. Yep. LLC.
We're already a business enough. So
God, dude. No, when something goes under your skin, when you get something implanted, you got the Apple Watch. You know, when the next thing, when it's in there, and I cannot steal Zach Collard's identity.
Yeah,
that's when the presidency goes away because we don't need him.
Too. Yeah, no, I really think so too. I don't think it's a. Let me take this text real quick. Just got back in town.
No, I would like a YouTube of political events and issues that I could go there and be like, Proposition 2A1B is coming up. It's only in this Cherokee County area.
If we focused more on their local shit,
no doubt. But that's your whole point as far as farmers markets. Mm-hmm. We're not shipping bananas straight from Brazil. Like what's here? Yeah, Tehran's. What's here? What's local?
Like we grow banana plants on the Pitt State campus.
Yeah,
legit. Every year.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they plant them and they pull them. They put them in a greenhouse to survive. Why aren't they in a greenhouse year-round producing bananas for our markets?
Well, we have so much agricultural
there's a banana
land.
Demand? Do you think there's a Pittsburgh, Kansas banana demand?
Hell yeah,
no.
there is.
No, it's.
I want bananas.
Yeah, it's crazy to think.
Think of all the agriculture we have around here. We have cattle. We have the monoculture of soybean and corn and all that stuff. And then I look at
Milo
school that I went to, Riverton, Kansas, and they eat.
Oh, is that where you went?
Yeah.
Awesome.
They eat governmental macaroni and cheese, the beef steak that came out of a box, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? We don't need to import this from wherever it's coming from, like from whatever factory up north.
Right.
Why don't local farmers create some sort of program, greenhouse program, farm to table, and feed these kids a high nutritional value? But I mean, that gets into finances and
it does.
And all
but
that
why?
kind of shit.
I guess that is where big gov.
Because people don't pay.
Big gov affects food.
They don't. Yeah.
And our petroleum.
Not everyone participates. That's the problem.
Sure.
Yeah. The freeloaders.
I mean, yeah, you could.
You're busting your ass. Yeah. You're paying all these taxes for my neighbors down there that don't do anything but fight and fuck and do meth.
Yeah,
exactly.
In this area.
Yeah, exactly.
Do meth.
Yeah. That's a T-shirt.
Have you ever done meth?
No.
Okay, so I think I may have. Now,
Did
this
you
is a good
smoke
story.
a joint with meth in it?
No. I was a dumb fuck when I was really young.
Okay.
And I was given Molly, quote, end quote.
Okay.
Molly.
Yeah.
And it was in a capsule form.
Yeah.
We thought, okay, let's see what this shit looks like. And
Yeah.
I opened it. It was just like chunky rocks.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Not pill form, not like powder.
Powder, yeah.
19 years old. Who fucking cares?
Popped
I'm
it.
at a Halloween party. Boom.
Mm.
You talk about... I don't know, man, but it was fucking souped up.
Did you
and
want
I don't
fuck?
know. I don't know the. Yeah, I don't know the.
That's.
It did.
That's
I don't know
weird.
the. I don't know the fine line between amphetamines, like what spills over into ecstasy, what spills over to methamphetamine, because I don't care to
Pretty
study
close.
that. Right, but this shit was like, you got itchy, you got paranoid, then you got happy, then you got. I mean, your emotions are all over, and you're just like, fuck. So then, fast forward a year, I have a friend transfer to college.
Uh-huh.
We're walking by those shitty apartments behind McDonald's that are now renovated and really nice in
Yes.
Pittsburgh to the east.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two little renovated homes and a white fence. Anyway, walking by, group of kids outside. You guys want to come to our house party? Sure. Yeah. What's going on? Who are you?
The
Blah,
best
blah.
thing about Pittsburgh.
Get upstairs to the apartment. Sketchy as fuck. Smells like cat piss. Dude opens up a foil fold. They're smoking joints, drinking beers. This guy's got the same looking shit and just like bigger rock forms in this foil packet or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so, we get handed the full packet and the lighter. We're like, oh, thanks, man. We're good. We'll just get a beer. And he's like, oh, cool. And then all of us just like fucking split. Like just stood up, kind of wandered around the apartment, meandered through people, and fucking bounced. And that's why I was like, I think that's pretty fucking identical.
You didn't get confirmation? He didn't say like, this is methamphetamine.
No, but
Okay.
it was fucking tweaked out and there was
Yeah,
aluminum shit everywhere. Aluminum on the windows. Aluminum fucking cups cut in half. Like everything was aluminum. Everything was shiny and...
The one thing I've heard about meth, I've heard two things. Well, I've heard a lot about meth, but the two things that I remember, one is that it has a distinct smell, like
cat piss, or what I've heard, or like a
okay.
burning transmission, or like
Okay,
something,
right.
like
I
shitty
don't know.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the smell, but it's like cannabis. You walk in, like, yep, that's weed. That's fucking weed.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that if you do enough of it and it's pure enough, you ejaculate if you shoot it up. So I had Chris LaTurner. You told me the story, bro. When he lived out in Vegas, they were big meth heads, and he said every time you'd shoot up, you'd blow a load, and then you'd fuck for days.
What?
You'd fuck for days. But
Is that why they all have kids?
Yeah,
It's like a bunch of kids and meth heads.
you should. Yeah, anyone that's done meth, they talk about fucking. It's just like you can't stop, and you won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. But yeah,
I'm glad that
I've never been around.
never had to experience that.
No.
But I did feel fucked up. It really
I'm
looked
sure.
like it looked like your.
That's my
your
meth rock,
rocks
dude.
I'm telling you. I mean, maybe I'm not seeing good meth, but
Well, I was gonna say maybe it was a bad chemist. Maybe he was not pure. Maybe it was just like 1/4 meth, bunch of cat piss, and some dust. I don't know.
yeah, no, it could have been
knows?
in this area. Shit.
You never know.
Well, dude, thanks for having me on here.
You
This
calling
is
the show?
fucking Awesome. I'm done after meth. I'm ending it on meth. It's over on meth.
You're like,
I'm gonna go home and shower and think about what I just did.
You're like, I gotta
And
re-listen to that.
I am 27. I have not done that ever and anytime soon.
Oh no, everyone. That's the thing. Everyone's got a drug story,
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't, it's like you're lying.
Yeah,
You know?
you've been around it.
Yeah.
You've seen
My
it.
mom has a drug story.
Yeah.
It's not very.
My mom
it's
hasn't
not-
relinquished hers yet, so if she sees this,
She's gonna be like,
Lord.
Zach, I gotta tell you something.
Lord,
My
help
mom's
me.
like, I took one drink of Bud Light, and I thought it was the worst drink I've ever had.
Yep.
That's my mom's drug story.
Sure. Yeah, and Trump's never had a drink. That's
Yeah,
what he said
yeah.
at a press conference the other day.
No drink.
Never had a drink in my life. It would be crazy. I'd be the worst. That's what he said. I'm like,
You're a billionaire. You've drank many times.
you've had some scotch
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere down the line.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
dated porn stars. You had to have a booze,
Yeah.
a booze drink or two.
No, I don't drink. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Just sit on my face.
Yeah.
No.
No. Not, was that a Russian Trump?
I don't know
What are you
it was.
fucking
I
doing?
don't know what
Are
it
you
was.
insinuating
I
Russia?
don't know what it was. It was probably one of Trump's kids that he doesn't know about that lives in Russia.
That lives in Russia, yeah.
He's like, that's the orange kid. You
Yeah.
know? We don't know who his dad is, but
He wasn't born in Chernobyl.
we have a good idea. He's got small hands. So.
That's fucking awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. I look up to
It's
you
nice
in a lot
to break
of
the
ways.
ice. I do
Mhm.
too. You're
Mhm.
an adventurer and a path forger.
Mhm.
That's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stick together on some of those things.
Yeah, I was thinking that, like, talking to you and listening to like your philosophy on things, like, man, that gets me fired up. Like,
Yeah.
just talking to you for the last 2 hours and 10 minutes, like,
Yeah.
it like recentered my reality.
Sure.
Like, I had some weird ideas, and I'm like, nope, those are don't even pursue those
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're not real. Like,
Yeah,
these over here, you need to focus on those. Like,
Yeah.
those will be
Follow
good.
your heart.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
It's fucking true though.
Or, you know, during the podcast, I was thinking, like, man, I have this screenplay. I'm like, well, if you really want that to happen, this is the correct path. You can't
Yeah.
just be like, I'm going to type a page today.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then
Right.
10 years later, you're like, I only have 10 pages. you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
It's like, you have to get after it like you. Like, you have that drive of just,
Thank
fuck it,
you.
I'm getting after
And
it.
there's days I don't. And you've got to like you got to be your worst criticizer. You
Yeah.
got to be like, you've got to look at yourself and go, dude,
Yep.
no. Or to keep going. It works that way.
Right.
And behind all the bullshit, behind where, you know, the little suburb town I came from in Oklahoma or whatever, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, everyone has their own niche. Everyone
Yeah.
has their own drive.
Right.
And I think if people would put bullshit aside and work together more, like creatives and wealthy people that like to invest
Mhm.
have got to have to form partners at some point.
Yeah.
If one wants what the other has, and
Yeah.
it's a trade in unison.
Right.
So I think the art of the deal, quote unquote, not to Trump what I said earlier. The art of the deal is true. It's like, how can you scratch someone's back so they can scratch yours? It works in harmony and everyone's cool.
Right.
And like you identify weaknesses and strengths and just fucking do it.
Yep.
These guys that are self-proclaimed solo acts, it's really tough to believe sometimes because somebody
Yeah.
helped somebody somewhere.
Yeah, no
Somebody's
doubt.
held a light. Somebody's fucking
You sound
ran
like-
a hard drive 2 hours away
Yeah.
because you forgot it. Somebody's helped.
Right.
So
I mean, as far as
It
like,
takes a tribe.
is there a self-made man? Not really.
No,
Yeah.
hell no.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
It's just it's a myth.
Somebody's had a
Egotistical
teammate
myth.
somewhere. Yeah.
It's a mom that drove you to practice every day,
Yep.
or, you know, someone.
How did you get good at football?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot that you took yourself to practice.
Yeah. Did you drive your 8-year-old ass to your Pee Wee League? No.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like Conor McGregor. Like, how many coaches does that guy have around him?
Oh,
How many nutritionalists?
him and Floyd Mayweather and LeBron James.
Any super high
Multi-millions on their own body.
dude,
And
insane
that's what they
amount.
do.
Yeah.
They have a team. They surround me. Okay.
They're not Googling, what should I eat today? You know,
Mm-mm.
someone's coming to them and they've spent their whole life telling people what to eat. And they're like, oh, LeBron, you need to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's how shit works. Be the dumbest guy in the room.
On that. Yeah. That's tough to do.
Fuck yeah.
That's
It feels
tough.
so good to be the smart one.
It
God, it feels
does.
so good to be in a group of people and like, that's why I could never be a teacher. I could never teach unlearned brains. I think I'm
It'd get to
definitely.
you?
I think I'd just
You'd
be
be
like,
like-
I'm comfortable. Like
Mm.
I'm teaching kids. I'm good because I wouldn't have that drive to continue to learn myself. I think I would be so self-fulfilled because I'm maybe a little bit more selfish than others. That I taught that kid how to read.
Mm.
That's awesome. Well, did you teach him some life skills? Did you teach him some other shit? Like,
Yeah.
did you continue to be the mentor that you were paid to be, or did that stop? So, I think that's where like being more of a student than a teacher, I
Yeah.
excel at.
Right.
I can sit and listen to somebody bullshit for hours and
Yeah.
absorb and absorb and
Oh,
absorb.
yeah. Yeah.
But if someone's like, "All right, Zach, how do I shoot a feature film?" I give you like a play-by-play, step-by-step, but
Mhm.
someone's taught me somewhere, and I'm much better at learning from someone than I am, I think, teaching. And that maybe comes with age. I don't know.
It's like teaching teaches you.
Mhm.
I think teaches you more than anything. Like,
Sure,
at
yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, if
Actual
someone asks
experience.
me a question, I'm like,
Yeah.
ask the coach.
Yeah.
Because I'm a white belt.
Sure, sure.
But if you are trying to show someone, you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense to me because I can't communicate it to him.
Mhm.
So I got to figure it out. I don't know it good enough yet, you know?
Yep.
So in that sense, you could teach yourself.
Yeah.
Or
I
you
need
could
to
learn
look
more
into
by
that.
teaching others, I guess.
Definitely. I need to definitely think about that more.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you know, it's like you revisit your younger self in a way.
Mhm.
You know, like a young boy comes up and he goes, "I just discovered squirrel hunting." And you're like, "Oh shit, like that was me." You know?
Yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
goes like, "What do I do?" You know, I got my 22 and I shot him in the tail. That's how I
Yeah.
kill it. And you're like, I did the same thing, but
Yeah.
that's not how you do it. You know,
Yeah.
that's not how you do it. And you like kind of relearn it.
Mhm.
That's what I hear about having kids. I don't have kids, but
So
that's
maybe
what
that
I've
comes.
heard.
Maybe that is an experience thing. Maybe that is a
Most likely, yeah.
time taught time-tested deal.
Right, I've heard like
As
having
you grow,
kids,
you become a better teacher than you do.
Kids
a learner.
remind you.
Mhm.
They remind you of like, I forgot that I even thought that way. You know,
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, like my little neighbor, I bought him his first bow set. And like every bird that flies by, he like fake aims at the bird flying by.
Yeah.
I'm like, shouldn't do that. It's a fucking cardinal.
Yeah.
But
Right.
you're just enamored with the idea of shooting something, propelling an object through the air with accuracy and control.
Right.
It was what my whole archery obsession was. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Teaching definitely does.
So you can take that mindset too. That's like almost like a Jesus quote. Like you have to be like a little child to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Sure.
In the same sense as like, take that sort of mentality to your new endeavor. Like don't put these weird confines on like, I'm going to make Gen 1 and this is how you make a doc and this is how you get it funded. Maybe like be crazy. You know, I'd have to get a little stoned and think about it, but like aim your bow at the bird that's a cardinal that's passing by.
Sure. Yeah.
It might not work
Bring
out.
it down to the level of pure creativity versus this set of rules.
Yeah. It's like Jordan Peterson and it's like spend a little time in chaos, you know?
Yeah, that's true, man. Some people work that way. That's really freaking true. That's like how, just spend your time immersed in no knowledge. Yeah, don't stay there. No, because you'll do drugs.
Dude, it will. You will. You will slowly just go down to the depths of hell, and then 10 years later, you're doing meth.
Yep. And then you're doing meth and blowing loads.
Yeah. At the same time.
In Vegas.
Yeah. Right on, dude. Well, I'll let you go. We've been kicking it for 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, hopefully there's some usable material. Of some sort.
It was great. It was
Thanks.
great. I like spending time.
I was nervous.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. Not at all.
I get nervous, dude.
I guess you came in talking.
I've job interviewed twice in my life, and one was made for me to do by a class I took in college, and the other was for an actual job.
And you're like, fuck this, never again.
No, I just get nervous.
Oh, yeah.
It was fine. I just got nervous. I know it's a part of the process. I just talking about myself. It's like, fuck.
Well, you're a super interesting guy. So
Thanks. I appreciate it.
And you're very well spoken.
As are you. I think that's why people like us attract and stick to each other.
Yeah, you don't want to take drug tests, and you want to do your own schedule. Like that's all I want to do. I just want to do what I want to do and not
do what I want to do, and maybe include some folks on the way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The collaboration part of it. That's big for you. That's
huge.
If I took one thing away from this podcast,
I love it.
I gotta start talking to people.
I can't do it alone.
Yeah,
there's no way.
It's very humble of you.
Fuck. I'm so not sometimes though. I'm so like, fuck this. I'm doing it on my own.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to. Right on, dude. Well, come on anytime.
Thanks.
Like today, you're just like, let's podcast. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it.
I'll have to bring a guest next time.
Yeah, I have a.
Thanks for inviting me.
I can totally clean this off. I have a third microphone and everything.
I'll have to bring like some, like I said, like a hot plate to cook while we're fucking around, or like some beer or something.
Yeah. Anytime you want to come on.
Thanks, dude.
Awesome, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. That's
yeah.
awesome. Fuck yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening today to the SciFi and Friends podcast episode. If you want to hit up Zach Collard, he's on. You're super on Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook, just Zach Collard. I don't have any special.
That's the way to
do
do it.
I think
Make it simple, dude.
Yep. Find me.
Hit him up on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Go buy a farm from him, or go hunting or something.
Or buy a picture, or hire me for a shoot, or give me your daughter that's single and successful. Either way.
What was that last one?
Thanks, dude.
Alrighty. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Peace.
SciFi wins.